of the highlands. I've walked these paths carved in stone. The snow reminds me all that I've been, and whispers this path before is mine alone. I will do what must be done in the face of fear. I will overcome with each step. Protect my home for a brand new day. Hold it strong. I will do what must be done. Frozen skies where mountains rise and we begin the climb. The future calls to break down walls and keep the flame alive. No turning back. We're standing tall, but strength and courage are so much I will do what must be done in the face of fear. I will overcome with each step. Protect my home for a brand new day. Hold strong. I will do what must be done. What must be done. And for a brand new day, hold strong. I will do what must be done. In the stillness of a new dawn, I find the strength to carry on.
Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and we are once again back at it again for some more Arknights because we are going to be continuing our story reading of retracing our steps. A lot has happened, actually. Before that, I've started reading Kelsey's backstory, MA10's backstory manga that they started releasing on CN. Thankfully, the first chapter barely has any dialogue. The first chapter got me on my hands and knees. Holy shit, we finally know what Kelsey's true form looks like, apparently. What MA10's true form looks like. It was so emotional, dog. It got me up to tears. That's wild. I think they're releasing more and more chapters of that also. The second chapter, somebody's gonna translate that. And I've read through the second chapter without any translations. I could get the gist of it. We're just going through the life of Kelshi all throughout her time traveling on Terra. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the continuation of the Kjerag story because, well, amidst the rapid industrialization of Kjerag, they finally experienced their first catastrophe in thousands of years. And the peoples of Kjerag are now succumbing to fear and xenophobia. They don't know who to blame for their misfortunes. They think Kjeragander has abandoned them. Meanwhile, there's a conspiracy brewing. Somebody is attempting to assassinate the leaders of Kjerag. Encia and Enciotes included. They tried to frame Ratatos, and they also tried to kill Arknights. That guy, if anyone wants to kill him, it's probably his daughter. So they can't kill Arknights either. That deadbeat needs his own daughter to kill him. However, though, there's still the issue of whatever they're researching with Rhine Labs, how that connects to everything, and who is behind the plot to sow discord in Kjerag. Because as far as we know, numero uno suspicions fall onto Harold and yet again the Duke of Castor's men, who have once again entered Kjerag under humanitarian aid, or so they say, helping out with the catastrophe. Meanwhile, assassins are in the background trying to kill off Kjerag's leaders. They seem to have wanted to leave Ratatos alive, and considering the Victorians did have a discussion with Ratatos over taking over leadership of Kjerag. Maybe it's not a red herring, maybe it's just as simple as we think it is. Blame the Victorians, it's probably them, but there's still the whole issue of Kjera has gone missing. Kjeragander seems to have abandoned her people. So Enya, who's Encia and Enya again? I'm mixing Promenix and Cliffheart together. Promenix is on a pilgrimage to find Kjera up in the mountains, and she encountered a new character. What's her face? New 5-star character. Who is telling her all about the horrors that rapid industrialization has brought upon Kjerag. Sure, more commerce, more money comes in, a development of technology and culture. However, who thought about the animals? Who thought about the other beings that live on the mounts of Kjerag? So she's a bit mad. Although she did lighten her mood when she found out that it was Promenix, the High Priestess. That's mostly what happened last time, so we shall continue. There's still the whole Rhine Labs thing. Monch is looking for a missing researcher. Last time we saw the researcher, it was right before the catastrophe hit. I wonder what will happen. Let us continue our story reading. Where did we stop? OS-4. I will take a sip of coffee before we begin. Okay. Just checking settings. We're all good. Volume up. OS-4. Conjoined Lives. We put aside our differences and the conflicts of the past and walk hand in hand towards the same future. Oh yeah, right. Ratatos' sister gave birth. The couple finally gave birth to twins. Didn't I tell you not to bother me today? Who's... The mother herself, Cirrus. Sister, what are you doing here? Don't just stand there, take a seat. What's the matter? Can't sleep? I thought I told Yucatan to keep close eye on you. No. She shakes her head. I told Yucatan not to come with me. I wanted to talk to you one-on-one. Ratatos never thought she would see this expression on her sister, who is usually so cheerful and straightforward. Alright, but only a bit. Then you could go back to bed. Acting like a little girl when you're supposed to be a mom already. I heard Arknights shouting in the drawing room today. Damn, so he did disturb you. I'll have his hairy head for this. No, it's not that. I heard what you were arguing about, and I know many bad things have been happening lately. Please, Rata, if you know something, tell me. By Kjerag. You shouldn't be worrying about these things right now, Cirrus. You'll have plenty to worry about once you take my job. But there's been trouble after trouble. Even if I shut up in my room can tell that things are getting worse. I see unhappy faces outside the window every day. Not to mention we haven't heard anything back from Monch. I have people searching for her. I'm sure she's fine. Don't forget that she's one of our finest brown-tail warriors. I know. It's you I'm really worried about, Rata. I've never helped very much, but there was a time when I could at least stand by your side and give you my support. But now you're facing all of this on your own. I wish you would talk to me more. There's no need to carry everything on your shoulders. Yucatan and I have your back, no matter what. You think too much, my silly sister? Are you really in such a hurry to take over for me? That's not what I promise you, Cirrus. I'll protect you, and Yucatan, and all of Clan Browntail. If it's the last thing I do. Kjerag be my witness. Still don't believe me? But you've got to believe Kjerag, right? There's no need to go that far. Alright, then promise me you're going to bed now. Tomorrow will be a better day. Come to think of it, a lot of the naming and mythos behind Kjerag is based off Norse mythology. Kjerag being Jormungandr, Ratatos, Ratatoskr. Who does Silver Ash represent? And Arknights. I think Arknights might be... Not quite sure, actually. This might also... Hold up. What if the entire event is based off Ragnarok, actually? What happened in Ragnarok, specifically the death of the gods? Hold up, wait a minute. Thinking emoji? Death of the gods. Kjerag. Kiera. Farenmits? Hold up. Oh, it's the Victorian ambassador again. You honor me with your invitation, Madame Browntail. I take it your thinking has changed then? I still think you're behind everything. Cut the crap. Assassinating the members of Clan Silverash and Clan Pale Roche, driving a rift between the three clans. Is this how you intend to coerce me into working with you? I thought Victorian politicians were smarter than that. The man smiles nonchalantly. I'm not sure how such a notion could have occurred to you, Madame Browntail. Assassinating the leadership of another country on their own soil? It would be tantamount to a declaration of war, if it could be proven. Are you sure you want to accuse Victoria of such crimes? So this is why you people seem so smug about yourselves. I'm not sure I understand your meaning. But since you've deigned to meet with me today, I'm happy to listen. Is there anything I could help you with? Go on. Act smug. Your crude little plot worked. The relationship between the Pale Roches and Browntails has broken down completely, and I've become the most suspicious one here. As for Enceodis, he just spun his tale about all three clans wanting stability to hoodwink that fool Arknights. He knows full well that in the present state of Kjerag, should the leader of any clans meet an accident, it would take little effort to demoralize the already disheartened people. If he learns of our meeting, he will not hesitate to join forces with the Pale Roches to attack me, even if he knows full well I wouldn't promise you anything. After all, what Kjerag needs right now is a culprit, one to place all the blame on. In that event, it's entirely possible that Clan Browntail will be wiped off the map. I don't have much time left. My sympathies, madame. I'm in full agreement with your assessment of the situation. Do you intend to turn things around, then? Let's get straight to the point. First, I want an absolute guarantee that you will prioritize the safety of Clan Browntail and the people of my domain, no matter what happens. Of course! We have long sympathized with the ordinary folk who have become marginalized by Clan Silverash. It is one of our major goals for peaceful cooperation with Kjerag. Say whatever you want. Second, all the trade policies currently in place will remain so when Clan Browntail takes over Karlan trade. Victoria must not withdraw any assistance currently offered to Kjerag. Otherwise, we reserve the right to terminate our cooperation with immediate effect. Not something you want to happen. She's playing into it? Hold up! What's her plan? Is she actually just being pushed into a corner to just cooperate with this conspiracy? You need not worry, madame. We are much more eager to cooperate with Kjerag and would never dream of undermining this partnership. There will be much room for further cooperation once you become the sole representative of your nation. Good. Taking over Karlan trade isn't something that can be accomplished overnight. We need time to prepare, and the first order of business is to deal with Arknights. Why are we just going along with this, Ratatos? I thought we had a solid deal here. Is Clan Browntail really that desperate for power? I know that man, and he will come looking for trouble if he finds Clan Browntail has been working with Victoria. In a sense, he's an even bigger problem than Enceodis. That bloody fool. Most regrettable. The decision is yours, Madame Browntail. How should we persuade Arknights? I will contact him again for one final meeting. Oh? There is an old Browntail manor at the foot of the mountains in the southwest, an area that is virtually uninhabited. I will send Arknights a message telling him to meet me there tomorrow, where I will explain the truth. The time of the meeting is at 7 p.m., 15 hours from now. I hope Victoria will demonstrate its good faith. Are we actually planning to murk the deadbeat? Of course. You will not be disappointed. We look forward to your persuasion of Clan Pale Roche. Ratatos! The mountain wind carries the snow, battering the hay-thatched roof. A few dry leaves are blown into the air, landing on the braids of the girl sitting on the rooftop. She picks it out and rubs it in her fingers. The Rift Cloud Beast pokes its head out from behind the girl's shoulders, rubbing against her red cheeks. Rift Cloud Beast, I'm just clearing my head. You don't have to come out and be cold with me together. The little white creature, which has endured many harsh days and nights with Joanna, purrs gently. Thanks. I don't know how to face the Saintess. She's the Vicar of Kjeragander. I should love and honor her, but how could those things happen? Why must my family be punished? The girl sits quietly on the roof. rift cloud beads in her arms until the fine snowflakes cover her hair in white. The door leading to the backyard is pushed open. The visitor has added a few shallow footprints to the snow. Enya sees 3 scattered crossbows as she walks to her left and picks up one to examine it. It is smaller than the one that Joanna uses. Joanna? Enya then casts her gaze in front, and there are 3 targets standing a short distance away, with a few bolts on them that have yet to be retrieved. They started training at such a young age. There's a name on the stock. Does it belong to her siblings? Enya's attention is drawn to a bunch of sculptures scattered haphazardly on the ground on the other end of the yard. Their visage is a familiar one. Enya approaches the largest amongst them and holds it before her. The sculptor was obviously extremely skilled. Kjerag is smiling gently upon her. This is just like the ones we built at Lake Silbernethers. I guess this is what they all think you look like. There are other sculptures lying by her feet, and Enya picks one of them. This one is sleeker, the chisel marks on the face rougher, giving it a sense of harshness. Perhaps the sculptor had too much force when sculpting the face, and chiseled off a little too much. Kjerag, where have you gone? Why have you abandoned Kjerag? It's not right, is it? Doesn't look like Kjerag at all. The face needs to be a little thinner, and the body? Will you heed the plea of a humble handmaiden saintess? Enya, please? See, it looks better when your face is rounder. Is this implying that Enya has known all along that Kjerag is Kjerag? Or are they just comparing the statue of Kjerag and the sculpture that she picked up? She carefully puts the 2 sculptures of different sizes back. In this bare, unfamiliar backyard, Enya puts her hands together and prays towards a statue of Kjerag, as the elders of Vinebead Court often do. She does not make any wish, she only hopes for a miracle. The sun has set, but the huntress still sits in the yard. She hurriedly gets up to bow when she sees Enya, but the latter lays her hand on her shoulder. Saintess, no need for formalities, it's just us 2. I would prefer it if you would call me Enya. As you wish. After greeting Enya, the girl looks aside and falls quiet again. There were a lot of Kjerag sculptures in the backyard. Did you and your family make them yourselves? Nods in silence. They look a little different. Is it because people interpret the image of Kjerag depicted in the old books differently? My dad made the ones that look like her. I made the ones that don't. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask, why did you make all those sculptures? My family is a branch of the Pale Roche that went into the mountains on Kjerag's orders. We've been hunters ever since. Okay, it makes sense that they're Ursus. So they're relatives! She's a distant cousin of Leto? We believe all the lives in the mountains share Kjerag's soul, and we are all part of the eternal cycle of life within her. In gratitude for the blessings of Kjerag, every member of our family must learn to sculpt the image of Kjerag once we're old enough to hunt alone. We also make leather jackets, bone sculptures, and accessories with her mark. Here, blessed hunter. Are the whispers of the wind and the grass not her hymns? Are the creatures that walk and fly not she embodied? The cycle of life and death is the cycle of water and ice. There is neither beginning nor end. Speak of Kjerag's wisdom, and love and listen. Rely not on signs and omens, but seek upon snow-covered peaks, and become one with her. Yeah, that part feels different from the other parts of Kjeragander. I always get stuck here. The details of the scriptures are not what matters most. What's important is to be constantly mindful that Kjeragander watches and listens to our words and deeds. You may not remember the complicated verses, but you're living, hunting, and sculpting in accordance with her teachings. Even as the saintess, I may never have truly understood the meaning of this passage if I hadn't met you. You're one of the most pious faithful I've ever met. Kjeragander will protect your family. Really? Yes, I'm her chosen saintess after all. She will appear when we need her most, no matter what hardship we face. Doubt? Sobbing. Tears roll down the young cheeks of the huntress who has always put on a strong front, falling and melting the snow by their feet. Joanna? What's the matter? Can you tell me? Enya takes Joanna's trembling hands in hers. When I first learned to hunt, I was bitten by an infected beast, and I got erypathy. Dad hunted every day and made those sculptures after coming back from the hunt, so that he could sell them in town to buy medicine for me, and he did it for years. A few days ago, Dad's friend told me he was at the station the day the catastrophe happened. If I didn't... Joanna? Why Kjeragander? The grieving girl drops to the ground, curled into a fetal position. Enya kneels by her side, trying to find words of consolation, but for all the scriptures that she memorized, none have an answer. After a brief hesitation, she begins patting the girl's back. There's a lump in her throat. If even eternal Kjeragander can fall silent, what could her saintess possibly do? Are you listening, Kjar? Oh, she definitely knows that Kjar is Kjeragander. Sitting by the window, the rift cloud beast suddenly growls with as much volume as it could muster, and darts back into Joanna's hood. She sniffles and wipes her tears with her palms. Someone's coming. I'll get the door.
Young lady, how do I get to the nearest town?
Are you lost? Do you see those lights? Follow the trail down the mountain and follow the lights whenever you come to a crossroads.
It's getting dark and my eyesight is poor.
I'll walk with you. No, I can't leave right now. You could spend the night here and head down once the sun arises.
No, I shouldn't trouble you. I'll find the path down the mountain.
What's going on? Wow. Why is there a strange man in the night asking for directions? What is it? Just an old man who got lost? You're quite far from town. Do people pass by here often? No, my family are the only ones who live here. We don't see many passerby. In fact, you were the first. What if they were scouting the place? What if they were trying to get us to open the door? It's the assassins! Look out! Well, shit. The assassins have found him yet again. Meanwhile, back with the deadbeat.
Back already, Kulo. You still have the gauze on your head. I told you to think before you act. You get back to the hospital right now and stay in bed. Master, I heard that you're going to meet with Ratatos again, at the Browntail's invitation. You can't go. What? You think I'm afraid of her? That witch says she's going to tell me the truth. I'm eager to see what she spews from that mouth of hers. Master, The meeting's on Browntail turf. This is clearly a trap. Huh! You think I don't know? A Pale Roche never runs from a fight. Just because it's her turf doesn't mean a Pale Roche is helpless there. You know what? Seeing the gauze on your head is making me doubly mad. I don't care how mad you are, Master. I'm sitting right here at the door and not budging an inch until you change your mind. And what does that have anything to do with you? It's my own fault I got hurt and couldn't protect you. All I can do is stop you from putting yourself in danger. Huh. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at those bloody brown tails. Don't worry. I'll settle the score for you. I'll show them nobody messes with the clan Pale Roche. Get out of the way, brother. Master. Warriors! Take General Gulo back to his room.
Several warriors help Gulo up and help him walk back to his room.
Huh. I'm not afraid of them, but I won't go unprepared. Bye, Vane. Prepare a few more cars, boys.
This deadbeat. Dinner's ready, Madame Cirrus. What about the matriarch? Will she not join us?
Matriarch Ratatos just left. She says not to worry about her.
I remember the matriarch saying that she had a meeting with Clan Pale Roche today, but it's so early. Did she go alone?
We're not sure.
Something doesn't feel right, Yucatan. Go after her.
Alright. One moment, please. Madame Cirrus, Master Yucatan.
What is it this time?
The matriarch left orders before she left. We are not to allow the two of you to leave home tonight. Under any circumstances.
Is she? Hold up. I think this is gonna be a double cross. I think she's gonna spill the beans on the Victorians. She's gonna go alone and plea to Arknights for help so that they can trick the Victorians. Surely, right? Saintus, get down. Who are these people? How dare they attempt to murder the Saintus on Kjerag's soil? Maybe they're not from Kjerag. They're dangerous. Don't worry, Saintus. I'll protect you with my life. They won't get in so easily. Don't underestimate the hunters of Kjerag. The young huntress locks and loads her heavy crossbow, barely taking any time to aim it through the broken window before pulling the trigger. It is immediately followed by multiple screams.
Ah, my leg!
Hit. Careful, there are a lot of them. We can't just stay here. We need to get out. What do we do? Calm down. Listen to me. Lying prone on the snow, the attacker gestures to those behind them to remain hidden. They learned their lesson the hard way. They slowly close in on the house, on guard against the crossbow bolts that can be fired from the window at any time, with uncanny accuracy. They could see a shadow move behind the curtain, and the edges of the curtain sway. The attacker raises his crossbow. The poison bolt strikes the figure behind the curtain. He hears the sound of a body hitting the floor, then silence.
Hit. Not sure if she's down. Units 2, 3, 4, hold position. Unit 1, with me. Approach with care. The intel says that there are 2 of them.
Why are they wearing Kjerag uniforms? Who are they? Are they Browntail, Pale Roche, or Silver Ash? Several figures sneak up to the house, breaking in once they determine no sound coming inside.
What? It's a wooden sculpture.
A sculpture of Kjeragander lies in the ground, a crossbow bolt sticking out of its head. The assailants did not notice the delicate sound of machinery operating as they entered the room. What? They hear the ringing of a bell, while their arms and legs go weak. 5 loaded crossbows and a massive net take aim at the invaders. Oh shit, we're home aloneing them! They fell for it, just like you said. You'd better repent for damaging a sculpture of Kjeragander. Now, run! Get Macaulay Culkin, bitch! Victorian spy! Alpha, report.
The Pale Roche convoys cleared the 3rd checkpoint. Confirm target position. Back seat of the lead car. Shall we engage?
Affirmative.
Wait, there's a change in the situation. The target stopped moving. No direct line of sight. I can't see what's going on. Roundtail warriors? What are they doing here?
Stand by. I'm calling number 1. Okay. Hold up. These events are happening parallel to each other?
What's the meaning of this? Your matriarch told us to come meet her, then sent you to stop us. The location of the meeting is just ahead, Sir Arknights. This will only take a minute of your time.
Oh, wait! This was an ambush for the Victorians! It is a double cross! Never doubt, Ratatos.
Please allow us to search your vehicles, in the interest of safety.
Or not, maybe.
What a joke. You're afraid of a handful of boys when your people pick the location? You people are cowards. The orders came from Matriarch Ratatos. We request your cooperation. Huh. Do what you want. I've got nothing to hide. No issues. You may proceed now, Sir Arknights. Not so fast. Searched us. Now we search you. Search every nook and cranny from here to the Browntail Manor. The road and everything around it. You find anybody suspicious, take them in. Yes, sir.
Report on the target's location, Alpha. Come in, Alpha. Alpha, can you hear me? Report. What's going on? Command! The target car has entered our surveillance zone and is approaching the final point of action. Should we move? When did he? Is there any movement from the target? No, the target hasn't exited the vehicle. I can't see inside from here. Stand by. Engage once you have visual on the target.
Bravo, reporting.
We have visual on what we believe to be an armed Kjerag patrol. Have you identified them? Unclear. Possibly Pale Roche guards. Charlie reporting. We've spotted Kjerag warriors too. They're searching nearby buildings. Our position may be compromised. Should we make a move now? Negative. Stand by.
We've been compromised. Engaging.
They found us! We've been exposed! Repeat, we've been exposed! Permission for final action!
Bloody hell.
Affirmative. It was a double cross. You don't fucking mess with the brown tails! The north winds blow over the mountain road. The tusk beast hides among the rocks he bides. Take your bow, swing it low, by the little wood window.
Ah, my leg!
Hit. The forest is the domain of the hunter. The young huntress takes Enya into the forest, the mysterious assailants in hot pursuit. Their numbers are soon thinned by crossbow bolts that seem to come out of nowhere. There's at least one more. Where are you? The huntress knows that her last shot has revealed her position, while the enemy has withdrawn into the shadows. She hides behind a large tree, zeroing in on one little sound. Lock, load, loose. Miss! The young huntress is pushed to the ground as her shot misses. The attacker picks up a bolt from the ground and aims it at her throat. but he never gets the chance to bring his raised hand down. It is frozen. Ding ding! A blurred silhouette appears from above the assailant, bringing the weight of 1,000 mountains down upon his head. The ground trembles and the snow on the tree branches is scattered. Dagenbrecker? Mother! Oh shit, you're fucked! Dagenbrecker catches the bolt flying towards her with one hand. Oh shit! She's so cool!
Who are you? What do you want with the Saintess? Stop, Joanna. Dagenbrecker's a friend.
Dagenbrecker? Joanna hesitantly removes the bolt from her crossbow as she looks up and down at Dagenbrecker.
I've heard your name before. They say you're a strong warrior. But I've never seen a man beaten into permafrost like that. What are you doing here, Dagenbrecker?
Enciotis sent me. I apologize, but now is not the time to stick to the rules.
How did he know I was in danger?
Because everyone else is in danger. This is not the only attack in recent days. There were attempts on the lives of the members of Clan Silverash, and Pale Roche soon after you left the Vinebead Court. The three clans are on the brink of civil war.
How could this be?
These people. Only now do the trio have the time to take a look at the assailants. Late assailants, more precisely. They are wearing Pale Roche armor, and they are carrying standard issue Kjerag weapons.
Clan Pale Roche? That's impossible. Clan Pale Roche has always been loyal. They would never think of murdering the Saintess.
But there has to be an explanation for these people. It's the Victorians! They were brought into the country under the guise of humanitarian aid. That's how no one questioned the increase of hostiles in the country. They didn't just sneak in, they walked through the front door.
They must be in disguise. Someone is trying to frame the Pale Roches. Let me see. There must be some gap in their disguise. Yeah, look! At this bolt! These people thought that they could fool us wearing Pale Roche clothes, but they got a very important thing wrong. Look, the bolts they're carrying are two-fletched, but the ones used by Pale Roche warriors are three-fletched, which are more suitable for battle than hunting. Dad told me that our family was the best, most loyal warriors of the Pale Roches before we split from the clan. Our shooting skills were passed down from our ancestors, who used them in war, mostly against the Silver Ashes.
A logical explanation.
All ancient history now. The wars between the three clans, Pale Roche, Browntail, and Silver Ash, have long since come to an end, and your family became hunters under Kjeragander kind guidance. Yes, by Kjeragander.
It's not hard to guess who is impersonating Clan Pale Roche.
The Victorians.
Dagenbrecker pulls a bolt from one of the Victorians' necks and examines it.
Did you make this yourself? Yeah, my dad taught me when I was little. The craftsmanship has been passed down my family from one generation to the next.
From one generation to the next? The cut of the fletching, the shape of the point, even the etching on the shaft. These are all unique to Ursus.
How's that possible? Dad said it's a mark of Kjeragander's faithful.
Do you not know where the Ursus come from? There's a whole ass country with your racial name on it. I've seen arrows like these in the arenas of Kazumesh many times, used by those who claim to master the most authentic Ursine martial arts. A gimmick, no doubt, but the GCC also sponsors legitimate historians. I've read their papers and seen the artifacts they dug up.
But we're all indigenous to Kjerag. We used to be part of Clan Pale Roche.
Who's gonna tell her?
What does Ursus have to do with Kjerag? Enya? Some brought flags, some brought drums, and some brought swords. The three outsiders fought constantly, and their blood turned the rivers red, and she grieved. She went to the place of battle and said, "Sheathe your weapons and let your hearts be joined, and I will bestow upon you the blessings of prosperity and protect you from ill."
Oh! None of the three clans are native to Kjerag!
But the three were foolish and continued to fight even after they heard her words. So she cracked the heavens and split the clouds, and she brought forth a miracle, and the fighting was stopped. One of them wept, but how could we forget the hatred, the blood that was shed? And she wept as well, and her tears froze the enemy, becoming three eternally frozen peaks. What was that? A passage from the Kjeragander that is often overlooked. Now I think I understand. Joanna, I believe that your family, indeed all of Clan Palerosh, originally came from Ursus.
I mean, no shit, dog. Duh.
You think so too? Yes, but it's not just you. The Silver Ashes and Brown Tails came from elsewhere as well. As the scriptures say, our three clans were outsiders who fought incessantly over resources until Kjeragander intervened. The three frozen peaks seem to refer literally to the three mountains surrounding Kjerag, but in fact refers to the domains of the three clans, which she had demarcated. She will come again if the swords are not laid down. Several years ago she manifested through me, averting what would have been the first civil war between the three clans in centuries. The hearts of the three clans must be joined in order for her protection. The first virtue that Kjeragander taught us was forgiveness.
Well, that was a lore bomb.
We got them, Master.
The tall guards bring over several prisoners, bound with ropes.
These guys were hiding in some abandoned houses, clearly up to no good. They had binoculars and communication equipment on them. Victorians, by the look of it. Ha! Just as I thought. Ratatos is plotting with the Victorians to kill me. We'll take these men to her. No, we'll do it in front of the Vine Bead Court, with all three clans present, and we'll see what she has to say for herself. Who's there? We caught the remaining Victorian spies, Sir Arknights. We're glad to see that you were unharmed. What do you mean? Patriarch Ratatos' orders were to protect you, Sir Arknights. We had been following you and stopped these men when they attempted to make a move against you.
The warriors put their bound prisoners down.
What in the name of Kjeragander? Where is Ratatos? We do not know. She said she would try to draw out the spies that Victoria had deployed around here. When they revealed themselves, we can...
Wait! Was Ratatos bait? Was she bait? The old Browntail Manor explodes, its walls torn apart like cardboard. No! They're not! Hypergriff, you are not killing Ratatos and setting up Cirrus to become the new matriarch of the Browntails. Hold up! Glass and wood fragments fly in all directions as flames consume the traces of a once sumptuous history. The boiling smoke distorts the night air. The Palerosh warriors stand transfixed, eyes wide. Behind the brown car, some warriors caught by the blast now stagger as they try to help each other out. The echoes of the explosion gradually disperse, leaving the crackle of wood and distant sirens ever clearer in the night. A charred jacket drifts down in front of Arknights. No! Ratatos!
This is... Ratatos. What the hell have you done?
Not our matriarch! OS-ST2. A pilgrimage. A knell. As the others weep, it is time for you to depart. The snow never waits, nor is it ever in a hurry. I can't believe they killed off Rathatos. A layer of snow has formed on the withered branch. The Rift Cloud Beast climbs to its tip, squinting in an impression of scouting. The Saintess sighs, turning around to look behind her. The Huntress following her pauses, her face slightly red from the wind. At least Enya isn't alone anymore in her pilgrimage. She has Degenbrecker and she has Joanna.
Joanna, you don't need to follow me. I'm very grateful for all you've done. As I told you though, the pilgrimage must be completed alone. Strictly speaking, I shouldn't even be talking to you. I know. I'm not following you. I'm not your guard or servant. I just happen to be traveling in the same direction. Don't worry, I won't talk to you. If anyone sees us, I'll pretend I don't know you. I won't let any danger strike you again. I'll just follow behind. Do you know where I'm going? Wherever you're going, I'm going. That's all I need to know. But I'm looking for Kjeragander. What? Looking for her? Did she disappear? I don't know, but the disaster will strike Kjerag again if she doesn't return. People will lose their lives, and even more will lose their faith. I must return to the Vine Bead Court and consult the tomes. The others must not know for now.
Then I'll follow you. Don't worry, if anyone's on your tail, I'll chase them away for you. Brr.
I think the Rift Cloud Beast just saw something.
In the direction that the Rift Cloud Beast is looking, the trail to the Vine Bead Court is filled with people dressed in solemn colors.
Looks like someone very important just passed away.
Rathatos!
Who could it be?
Enya shakes her head. She cannot help but feel a shiver down her spine, thick though her clothes are.
Are you alright, Enya? We'll go slowly, around the crowd.
They went back to the temple. Dark clouds hang low, almost touching the temple's eaves. It is a cold day even by Kjerag's standards, and all the north wind seems to penetrate the eyes and spines of the mourners. Family members and clerics gather in the courtyard with heads bowed. The people of the Browntail domain have gathered outside to honor and grieve their matriarch, who protected Kjerag with her life. Snow falls upon the black umbrellas. One of the Browntail nobles gives the one in his hand a little shake and sighs as the snow pours down.
So, the matriarch's body.
They never found it. The fire was too big. They turned over every inch of whatever was left, but found nothing.
Okay, dog. Come on, man. When in doubt, you confirm with a body. Okay. Right. There's no body as of yet.
I heard that they had to put her usual attire in the coffin, along with some ashes gathered from the scene. Nothing more.
How sad to think that one as bright as the matriarch would. Madame Cirrus! I apologize. I spoke out of turn.
Cirrus doesn't answer. She walks to the center of the courtyard, waiting for her sister, who had been by her side for as long as she could remember. Chimes tremble to the melody of the flutes. The clerics put their hands together and chant Kjeragander's hymn. The people place their hands upon the hearts in prayer to the song. Kjeragander, have mercy. Take her with you. 6 members of Clan Browntail's main branch carry a heavy Nanmu wood coffin up the muddy road. Yucatan at the head of the procession. They carefully lay the coffin down on the table, in front of the new Browntail matriarch. Yucatan walks to his wife, the grief on his face contrasting with Cirrus's calm expression.
Yucatan.
Russ,
Thank you.
The hymn draws to a close. All is quiet, and all eyes fall on Cirrus. For the first time, she understands the mask that Ratatos was forced to wear, the weight of responsibility, which crushes those unworthy of it.
Thank you for being here, to honor the memory of Ratatos Browntail. She was my sister, staunch guardian of Clan Browntail, and faithful child of Kjeragander. Her wisdom gave her courage. She told me that she would protect me and everything here, and she always believed in a better tomorrow for Kjerag, even in the most troubling times. All her life, she carried out the task that our grandfather entrusted to her, giving everything to Clan Browntail, even in her final moments. I've lost someone dear to me. It is only today that I realized the weight of the burden that she carried, and I will never have the chance to tell her. I know you'll remember her face, her voice, her sacrifice, and her deep love for Kjerag, for Clan Browntail, and for her family. And you'll remember as I do, who took her from us, leaving behind wounds that can never fully heal. A life so short and bright as the dawn shall walk with her in eternity. By Kjeragander.
By Kjeragander.
Answer the crowd, following Cirrus's lead as they kneel and pray respect to the departed. Even in times like these, when all is swept up in calamity, Kjeragander will continue to bring peace and tranquility to the people of Kjerag. Two figures emerge from the crowd as those in attendance stand back up. It is Arknights and Matterhorn, approaching the coffin with white flowers in hand.
My condolences, Cirrus. Ratatos died because of me. I'll never forget it.
Thank you, Arknights. This is a painful lesson to both our clans, to recognize who our true enemies are.
Matriarch Cirrus. Sir Enceodus expresses his regret for not being able to attend the funeral, and sends his apologies and condolences. He will pay a visit to Browntail Manor personally, when the time is right. Please take care, Matriarch Cirrus. He's so busy that he can't even come to the funeral.
Thank you. I understand. Clan Browntail recognizes the work that Enceodus has done for Kjerag. Let us continue the ceremony. I believe we have matters to discuss.
Really? Silver Ash? The crowd departs. The empty coffin is buried on Browntail land, next to the grandfather who loved her so dearly. Hold up. What if Bozo didn't show up to Ratatos' funeral because he's secretly having a meeting with Ratatos over what to do? What if this was a plan to begin with? With lips pressed together, Cirrus looks to the two men before her. Both look slightly angry.
I'm simply reiterating the decision of the last Tri-Clan Council, Sir Arknights. All external affairs shall be handled by Sir Enceodus and Clan Silverash, including matters associated with Victoria. Is this why you had the nerve to demand the Victorian spies? The murder of the Browntail Matriarch is no small affair. I won't allow the Silverashes to interrogate them on your own.
Master Matterhorn, it was the matriarch of Clan Browntail who was assassinated. I believe Clan Browntail should have full authority on this matter. Is Enceodus not pleased with this arrangement?
Of course not. However, it is a matter of principle to defer to the tradition of the Tri-Clan Council. There is formal and rational justification for allowing Clan Silverash to handle the spies. We've deferred to Silverash enough already, Matterhorn. You people have given us nothing but excuses when it comes to negotiating with the Victorians, and now these people have conducted terror attacks in broad daylight. How about we invite Enceodis to explain his attitude towards the Victorians and what he's planning to do to Sirius's face, and then we could talk about the spies.
Kindly refrain from baseless speculation, Sir Arknights. I've already shown considerable restraint. You and Matriarch Ratatos were not the only ones to be attacked. Lady Encia also narrowly escaped with her life. I would like nothing more than to get my hands on the assassins personally.
Well, if that's true, then this will be easy enough. We'll put the Victorians on trial, in front of all of Kjerag, and then we let Clan Browntail have their way with them. Let all Terra know that Kjerag shows no mercy to our enemies. Too reckless.
We already interrogated them. They were awfully tight-lipped. I doubt a public trial would achieve anything. Instead, I'm worried that they may see this as an opportunity to get a rise out of the people. It's not a risk we could take, with all the unrest in Kjerag right now.
If they have the guts to do so, just cut their tongues out. We should have dragged them out and spilled their blood for Ratatos at their funeral.
Arknights, no one wants vengeance for my sister more than I do. But we can't get carried away while there's still hope of actually coaxing some information from them.
Matriarch Sirius is right. This is a matter for... Elder? Please excuse the interruption. A cleric from the Vinebead Court has something to discuss.
The last envoy of the Vinebead Court almost got Arknights and Encia killed. How do I know you're who you say you are?
There is no need to be concerned. Sir Arknights knows me.
He's right. This is Father Frey from the Vinebead Court.
Alright then. What is it you want to say, Father?
I am here for the Victorian spies.
What?
The position of the Vinebead Court is that this is an extremely delicate issue. There will be considerable criticism and unrest, no matter which of the three clans take charge. Therefore, the spies should be placed in the custody of the court. We shall arrange interrogations, and of which you will be informed, and in which you will have the opportunity to participate.
I got the hiccups. I think it's gone.
I object. Why delay things when we're going to kill them anyway?
The Vinebead Court can't do this. The Tri-Clan Council has already decided that Clan Silverash will handle the Victorian affairs. Need I remind you that the Tri-Clan Council also agreed to return temporal power to the court? The Saintess is on her pilgrimage right now. The Vinebead Court cannot decide on her behalf. It is interesting that you would mention the Saintess now, when Sir Enceodis has always been at odds with us. All Kjerag knows that the Saintess and the Vinebead Court have always been of one mind. The scriptures speak testament to this. The Vinebead Court has often acted on behalf of the Saintess in her absence. Tell Sir Enceodis he should not presume to take all the power for himself. Father.
Calm down, Matterhorn. Clan Browntail accedes to the request. You can send your people tomorrow, Father, and we will hand the spies over to the Vinebead Court.
Sirius.
I know your concerns, but it's more important than ever to put aside the conflicts between the three clans. It would be great to have the Vinebead Court to mediate.
Thank you for your wisdom, Matriarch. The Vinebead Court prays for Clan Browntail. By Kjeragander.
Sirius bows to the Vinebead Court envoy. It is past noon, and the funeral procession begins to disperse. A man sitting in a car parked a little bit away witnesses the scene, then draws the curtain over the window. Is this Mr. Victorian Husbando?
Looks like someone is getting impatient. There has been a lot of movement in the Vinebead Court ever since the Saintess's departure.
I was surprised that Ratatos was willing to go this far. using herself as bait to draw out the Victorian spies. An impressive performance that brought about the actions of Victoria into the daylight.
Performance? Hold up.
And if the Victorians are trying to instigate a war between her and the other clans, this is also the most effective way to cleanse any suspicion from Clan Browntail. It's also not enough. Must make good use of the valuable time that Ratatos brought us. Why didn't you show up at her funeral? I wanted to avoid direct contact with the other clan leaders, especially in public. And how's Enya? Her injuries were minor. All the Victorian assassins are dead. Enya says that she has a plan to carry out in secret. She told me to come back once we cleaned up. All the people know is that the Saintess is currently on her pilgrimage. All the Victorians know is that their assassination attempt failed. We've wiped out all the traces from the mountains. And it's certainly true that the presence of the legendary Black Knight would not be conducive to secrecy. That's what I thought as well.
Oops. Hit the mic.
Not a bad plan. I also need people I can trust by my side for what is to come. Our real troubles have only just begun.
Okay. Just hydrating. Enciotis takes out an envelope and hands it to Dagenbrecker. Inside is a thick stack of agreements and a letter written in Victorian.
Read it. A letter? From whom? You could call it a letter or a declaration of war.
In Victorian? Are the Dukes waging war with Kjerag? What the hell is Siege doing? Bro! I know she got her hands busy with Londinium. The Dukes are out here starting new wars. Specifically, Castor? To the chairman of Carlin Trade, the son of my kinswoman Elizabeth. It is Castor. The son of my kinswoman Elizabeth. The Silver Ashes are of Victorian blood. They're distant relatives of the Castor bloodline. So the Pale Roches are from Ursus. The Silver Ashes are from Victoria. Where are the Browntails from? I assume they might be from Sammy. There could also be Sargon, but I think it's more of... They might be from Sammy. Dear Enciotis Silverash. Let's speak in Castor's voice.
I hope this letter finds you well. It has been more than a decade since we met at that banquet.
Okay, it is Castor.
Perhaps you recall their conversations, as I did, when you heard about our recent events in Victoria. You foretold the conflicts that I was personally involved in, and you have earned the right to sit at the table with Victoria as equals. But do not forget that every step you have taken is on a path that Victoria wants to see taken, one which she has paved for you. Victoria's position remains the same after the catastrophe. We support Kjerag's development and respect Kjerag's fate, and I believe that Clan Silverash and Kjerag have never needed more help than now. I will offer that help. Based on the current partnership with Carlin Trade, I will accept the following proposal.
I will accept the proposal while she's setting the terms? These are demands!
A special office jointly created, funded and managed by both sides, establishing a foundation with its location in the city center. Victoria will double down on existing investment in the form of equipment and interest-free loans, and share more industrial technology to support the future development of Kjerag. All Kjerag needs to do is open its doors to the Victorian mining efforts, including but not limited to Originium, repaying the loans in kind.
Oh shit! It's all returning back to the Originium crisis that's happening. Every single major country probably already knows that the prime veins are turning into Oka. There's an energy crisis looming. They need more mines, just like Ursus does. They need more Originium. Conflicts are brewing because of Priestess. We called it from the very start of this event. Hold up. Okay. So the Victorians just casually doing a little imperialism yet again, having learned nothing from the Sarkaz conflict. The Dukes are just at it again. Bro, what the hell? What the hell is Alexandrina doing? The Dukes are doing imperialism again. Specifically Castor. Carlin Trade will not need to provide any cash. After all, there are many places where it can be put to good use. Considering present circumstances in Kjerag, I believe this to be a fair sign of good faith. The associated contracts we have already drafted and enclosed, ready for your review and signature. Bro, this is a one-sided conversation. They drafted the terms, and they just expect a confirmation. I will be happy to meet with you, should you wish to discuss the details. I look forward to the links that the Castor bloodline can build between us. And I'm curious to whether Kjerag has become what you wanted it to be. She may be an antagonist, but also she's a badass gilf. Okay, Duke of Castor once again making her presence known in the plotline. The Dukes are up to something. I wonder if this is gonna connect to any other developing conflicts all around Terra. Because so far, Priestess converting the prime veins into Oka has created an energy crisis. Every major nation so far that we've visited since the event have had their own machinations in how to deal with it. Ursus, just a little overmining, human enslavement, and experimentation. The Dukes of Victoria, back to their old ways of imperialism. Conflict is a brewing. Where are we heading to next again? I think? No, the next event's gonna be 3 months from now. We're gonna go back to Yan. I don't think Yan is concerned about all of this. We have way too much going on in the Sui Saga. I don't know how the current energy crisis is gonna be woven into the Sui plotline. What other future events do we have? There's the event where Nasty comes out. But that's gonna involve the Sarkaz, probably. Sarkaz, Rhine Lab, and the supposedly Imperianica Zelia. There's Hierda. We're talking about the geopolitical machinations of different major countries, not individual people. Sargon. Bolivar. Colombia. Hold up. What are the Americans doing? Anyway. OS-5. A Lonely Winter Night. Even as those who could be trusted are separated, she sets out on her journey with her brave heart as a companion. Meanwhile, back at Rhine Labs. "33 hours before the Kjerag catastrophe." What? Instruments check. Terminal battery check.
Pen, ink, and paper, check. Coffee, check.
Had to burp.
It's all-nighter time.
I have the hiccups.
Whoa!
A rustling sound coming from the corner gives Elena a fright. Only then does she realize that she's not the only person in the observation room. Is it the researcher that we've been chasing around? Monch is still on her trail. The human figure crawls out of a pile of waste paper by the instruments. Aha! It's Carolyn.
Oh, it's you, Elena? Oh, I thought some great scientist was pulling an all-nighter in an effort to win the Max Prize.
The Max Prize? The president of America named the prize after himself? Brother. Arknights is not subtle. That fucking bird named the prize after himself! God damn.
Carolyn? You remember me? Of course I remember the rising star of the energy section, the youngest researcher ever to join our ranks. I'm flattered. I thought you had already left. The schedule said I was supposed to be the one on observation duty today. Like the schedule's ever meant anything. I wouldn't have been sleeping here for 2 straight weeks if it did. No wonder I've hardly seen you ever since I came to the station. Must be tough. How does it feel to be back? You mean, coming back to Rhine Lab? You were the first person I thought of when they started recruiting for the observation station project. I thought you would turn it down.
They came here to observe the star pod. And Astigene is into astrology. However, I think everything that she knew of to be real was shattered the moment Kristen broke through the star pod. It's like, what? All the stars I've been studying have been fake?
Honestly, it was an easy decision. At the end of the day, though, the company gave me a valuable opportunity. Besides, the achievements of Rhine Lab itself has never been in question. I still think my time at Rhine Lab was the closest I've ever been to achieving my dreams. And I have to admit, even Ferdinand was a great researcher, if nothing else.
He has no redeeming qualities except that he was a great researcher. Yeah, that sounds like Ferdinand.
Indeed. He has a mind for physics, so let him do what he does best. You know, he stopped messing with the other researchers since he got out of prison, and he's been spending all his time on research. How much time did he spend in prison, dog?
What? Did Max just bail him out or some shit just because he needed him in Rhine Lab? American politics.
I think there's going to be a new director of energy before long. Maybe she's standing in front of me now. No, you've got to be kidding me. I just wanted to get a closer look.
The star pod. Elena looks up and sees the sky obscured by snow through the observation's clear dome. She hates this feeling. Just like she hates her family's backwards traditions and beliefs, all the things in her way have nothing to do with science itself. Wait a minute. Am I mixing things up? Which of the two sisters is into astrology? I'm mixing the twins up. She believes that science should be pure, ever advancing, solving questions about Terra one at a time.
This observation station is an invaluable opportunity. I only want to focus on my research, maybe push a little further than the boundaries of existing knowledge if I can. Boundaries, huh? This is the closest place there is. Say, have you heard the legend of Kjerag? Legend? What legend? The land has not suffered a catastrophe for thousands of years, thanks to the protection of their god. Well, every country has once attributed unusual phenomena to the gods. Kjerag just held on to that tradition longer because of its isolation. Yet it is indeed true that Kjerag has not suffered a catastrophe for thousands of years. It's certainly unusual, but there must be a reason.
She's a Reddit atheist. Oh my science! There's a rational explanation to why Kjerag hasn't gotten hit by a catastrophe.
Maybe the high elevation makes it difficult for originium particles to converge, or a Fahrenheit? Huh? Come on, I'm being serious. I know there are legends about the Fahrenheits, ancient beings the size of mountains that turn into mountains and rivers after death. First off, there are no confirmed accounts proving the existence of Fahrenheits. Besides, if these beings did exist, where do they find the energy to sustain their biological activities?
She doesn't know. She doesn't know. What if you just pass by 1 or 2 or 12 on Rhodes Island? She doesn't know.
Why bring this up anyway? Just something that occurred to me while we were chatting. Well, that's enough gabbing. You can rest. I'll take over observations for the night. Really? But you've done so much night shifts in a row. It's not like my circadian rhythm can get any more messed up.
Same.
And chatting with you woke me up. If I recall correctly, there are some bugs to iron out with the power supply to the high-energy particle beam? Oh, wow, you know about that. Get some rest and put that brain of yours to better use. Well, I guess I'll take you up on the offer. Thank you so much. I'll buy you some fins and chips from the Victorian restaurant that just opened up at the foot of the mountain when you have time.
Victorian restaurant? Isn't that the one owned by the Victorian husband and the Kjerag wife?
Please don't. No Victorian wants to enjoy authentic Victorian cuisine in a foreign land. Kjerag cheese fondue then? That sounds great.
Carolyn doesn't seem to be the type of person to willingly cause a catastrophe. Why was she running away from Monch? What did she know? What did she discover? 33 hours before the incident. It is another deep and quiet night in Kjerag. The ancient land slumbers, and lamps give way to stars. The sleeping snowy mountains may seem wondrous to the uninitiated, though most who live on this land have gotten used to this sight. If you look up at the sky on a night like this... Ooh.
What's that?
Both her eyes and the instruments capture the strange light that cuts across the night sky, like a sign from the heavens. Wait. Hold up. Nah, maybe this is just me speculating too much. What if something passed through the star pod, landed in the Kjerag Mountains, and that was the cause of the avalanche catastrophe? I mean, the other rational explanation is that because Priestess is converting originium veins across Terra into Oka, the geological stability of the Kjerag Mountains might have been tampered with. That's the other theory that I have.
It appears that Carolyn was an accomplished, intelligent young researcher with a bright future.
This project is very important to Rhine Lab in Columbia. The recruiting process was extremely selective. We've yet to find any irregularities in her records and communication logs.
She was originally from Victoria.
I'm unable to provide any private information. That would be violation of Rhine Lab privacy policy and basic human rights.
What if she's a Victorian spy, actually? What if she was planted by Victoria into Rhine Lab?
We can only provide information about her at Rhine Lab, about her time at Rhine Lab, unless your government officially presses charges of espionage.
Of course, I was just asking. Her application material was very comprehensive, with every shift in fieldwork experience documented meticulously. Here it seems she even requested a field survey task for herself, collecting information about Kjerag's geography concurrently with her scientific research.
She has been a diligent researcher, highly rated at Rhine Lab and a model student when she was at school. Such scientists are not usually involved in this kind of trouble that we currently face. Yet, at that point, we have no further information or clue as to the whereabouts of Carolyn. Believe it or not, we are even more eager to find Carolyn than you are. There are many things at stake. Ryan Lab's reputation, the security of the research data, potential breach of our management system, the mutual trust and partnership between us and the Kjerag people.
And
Kjerag's development.
are you speaking as a member of the Scientific Ethics Consensus Committee?
Please don't misunderstand. Though it might sound a little condescending, I have the highest respect for what Carlin Trade is doing. After all, the courage to reach beyond one's comfort zone is the most important part of being a scientist.
Not just in scientists. There is a saying in Kjerag, black burden beasts are the bad burden beasts. They jump their fences and run into snowfields. Herders who go into the fields following their tracks never return.
They die.
That's what go into the snowfields and never return usually means in Kjerag.
One by one, the past pages are reviewed and placed on the table. Carolyn's notes and actions turn into a tiny pile of papers.
But where did the black burden beasts go? It's the same question in the end. Perhaps they led the herders into the mountains, getting lost in the forest and freezing to death at night.
Another page is read and placed on the table.
Or perhaps...
Gnosis puts the last page down. White upon white, like snowflakes falling on frozen cliffs. They simply found a new
source of water, a new haven. Can you at least tell me where exactly she carried out her fieldwork?
What did she discover? She might have went there with the data in tow. If we could track Monch down, we could track Carolyn down.
I can't. The observation data is badly corrupted. I can't recover the original data from the port.
Stacks of documents and mugs with dried coffee stains sit quietly on the table. An error tone signifies failure of the data restoration, causing the hearts to sink once more.
There are ID records of all entries and exits, no message left behind in the dorms and labs. The main security camera malfunctioned while the two of the sides of the lab didn't capture anything. Seems like too much of a coincidence. Could Carolyn really have... No. Everyone else might assume she's a spy, but I can't let bias cloud my judgment. I already requested access permissions from Director Mulesys to get to the bottom of things.
Momo!
Knock knock! Who's been up all night? Director Mulesys? Surprised to see me? I hear you haven't been back to the dorms for 2 straight nights. You still searching for the data that disappeared? Yes. There's little doubt that the observation logs were altered, although we're not sure who did it or why. There is reason to believe that the overridden data holds a crucial clue. But... Never mind. I brought you a little snacky. Can't work on an empty stomach after all. Thank you. What is this? You've never had it? Kjerag cheese pastries with sugar frosting and berry jam. It was all the rage at the station a while back.
At the station.
I heard people talking about it and had planned on trying them the next time I went down the mountain for fondue, and I've been too busy investigating special energy sources unique to Kjerag.
Elena picks up the pastry. It's dried up on the outside, but the cheese and jam inside remain moist after being heated. The sound of running water ceases, and Mulesys sits down by her side with 2 clean mugs in hand.
Mind if I sip a cup of joe with you? Not at all.
Fresh coffee fills the mugs, drenching the air in its aroma. The sound of machines operating is clearly audible at this late hour. A massive window on the wall displays the stars in Kjerag's night sky, deep and boundless as always. The atmosphere in the room relaxes. Elena lifts up her mug after a moment of hesitation.
Midnight coffee in the lab. Brings back memories. You used to stay up late too. Who doesn't? In our line of work? Even when I was a student, it felt like I had more coffee than blood in my veins for finals. Looks like everyone's been there before. Working at night's more efficient after all. Yes, night is quiet. Makes it easier to focus. I used to write one paper while dictating the summary of another using an audio recorder, when I was really busy. That way, I get to make progress on both at the same time. Crazy when I think back to it. Oh yeah,
Whoops. I accidentally opened MTG Arena. Never mind.
oh yeah, audio recorder. Huh? Audio? Where are you going? Surveillance audio recordings.
Maybe something was caught.
Surveillance camera, credentials. The time is 3:19 a.m. There. Didn't you say the cameras didn't capture what was happening in the lab? At the lab table? Yes, but it might have captured sound from the equipment. Listen to this. A lot of instruments operating. This ticking sound should be the audio sensor. The frequency that it plays back is directly connected to graphing. We could use this frequency to recreate... Excuse me.
Oh! To recreate the seismic recordings.
Need a pen and paper? Here you go. Oh, thanks.
Pen tip rubs against paper. The time they spend around the instruments have made researchers intimately familiar with data. She enters the numbers that she copied down into the computer and then... Whoa! Seismic shifts.
There. This is the hidden data. Let me take a look-see. Looks like a small earthquake occurred on Mount Carlin the morning the day before the catastrophe. No, not an earthquake. It was an impact of some kind.
Hold up! Something did pass through the star pod. Something came from space and hit the mountains. It can't be. No shot. The presence? Was it the presence?
As if something fell from the sky into the mountains of Kjerag. And then came Kjerag's first catastrophe.
Outside the wide windows of the observation station, the mountains of Kjerag seem to reflect a translucent blue under the moon.
Did Carolyn go looking for this extraterrestrial object? But why would she do it all on her own? She's never abandoned her post like this. She must have found something. We might be able to find her if we figure out where that thing fell. Which we can calculate from the wave frequency of the sound impact. Director Mulesys, the Vine Beat Court isn't about to investigate on our behalf. Strictly speaking, we shouldn't get any more involved in any of this stuff. The most we can do is report it to the component control. But Carolyn might be in danger. You know, that's not your job. You're not exactly close to Carolyn. Bluntly, whatever happens to her is none of your business.
Mulesys finishes her cold coffee in silence. Frowning at the bitter taste, she takes a piece of pastry and puts it in her mouth, speaking as she chews.
But sometimes I think the most important quality in a scientist is courage, maybe even recklessness. You're a sharp kiddo. Got a knack for finding rhythm in music. Makes for a good dancer. I wouldn't want to tie you up, gotta let you move around free. You mean... This conversation never happened. Nobody tried to talk you out of it, nobody told you what you can and can't do. As for the late night snack, you took it from the shared fridge yourself, didn't you?
Yes, Director Mulesys. Okay, she's gonna be looking for Carolyn now. Surely they have the data to plot out where the foreign object landed. Meanwhile, Carolyn.
You've been tampering with the locks again. You just won't give up, will you? Unfortunately, the area that the search parties are looking is at least 5 kilometers from here. Don't expect them to hear your distress signal.
Okay, these two are just getting along.
At least eat something. Malnutrition during the recovery process will increase the time needed for bones to mend by 20%, and the chance for complications by 35%.
Oh, was Monch caught up in the avalanche?
It's not my intention to hurt you or leave an outstanding warrior with a permanent disability.
Cut the crap.
I warn you, you'd better kill me now. I suppose that's an option. As I said, however, I have no intention of bringing harm to Kjerag, and I certainly feel no need to take innocent Kjerag lives.
What? What do you mean, feel no need?
Besides, it was a miracle that we survived that avalanche after all. It was, in your people's words, Kjeragander's protection, right? Shouldn't that be a sign to a faithful follower of Kjeragander to value her own life? No intention of bringing harm to Kjerag! You've been spying for the Victorians and stealing Kjerag's military secrets! Such an unfair accusation? Do you really think a few battleships constitute Kjerag's most important secret?
Okay, she didn't deny being a Victorian spy. So that's confirmed, basically. What she really wants to learn is about Kjera and Kjeragander.
You speak of your god's blessings all the time, but have you really thought about what your god is?
Why are you interested in the Fairnets? Why is Victoria? Why are the Dukes interested in the Farenmit Kjerag?
What are you talking about? Kjeragander is not to be questioned or doubted. That didn't resonate. Well, I guess the only reason I'm talking to you about this is because there's nothing to do here to pass the time. Ah, well, it doesn't matter anyway. If you want to pass the time, I've got something to ask you. How did the Victorian spy work for Rhine Lab for so long? Why are you so sure I'm a Victorian spy when I've been working at Rhine Lab for so long? Well, if you really want to hear it, I can tell you a little story. There was once a girl in Victoria who was incredibly fascinated to know how everything worked, and she wanted to spend her whole life studying. A dozen years later, she went to Columbia as a visiting scholar from the Royal Victorian Academy of Sciences. It was not the research foundations of Victoria that found her, but an intelligence agency. From that day forth, the only thing that she was allowed to be curious about was the secret documents of the Colombian government. But her curiosity was not so easily stated.
Stated? Isn't it satiated? Yostar.
As she dug through Columbia's secrets, she found an opportunity to satisfy the very depths of her curiosity.
You learned about the Farenmits from Colombian secrets?
At the end of the day, though, there is little that separates Colombia and Victoria. People fight over the slightest morsel of profit. The order that took so much hard work to build is now teetering on the brink of ruinous war. Who has the time to gaze up at the heavens, or even down at the ground we stand on, of which we know so little about? I find it also a tedious bore.
Okay, dog, she's giving Kristen. Hold up. Kristen 2 Electric Boogaloo? Her curiosity is kinda dangerous? What is she trying to figure out? Aside from, I don't know, the nature of Kjeragander. Early morning, Hall of Writings, Vine Bead Court.
Good thing the window isn't too high. The clerics have gone to their morning prayers. The observation station is a sensitive topic right now. I need to avoid them. Maps, geographical records, anything that could help.
The morning sun shines through the window and falls gently on the aged books. Elena dusts off the books in front of her, but finds the writing of the clerics difficult to decipher. She begins to regret not bringing a dictionary in the Kjeragi language.
How did they categorize this stuff? This one's a collection of quotes.
Didn't Enya and Joanna return back to the temple to pick up some tomes? I think they're gonna run into each other. The atheist and the true believer about to clash.
Kjeragander showed herself to me and said, "Seek not my temple, but my heart." Whoa!
Elena lets out, "Let's go" in panic, and the heavy book hits the floor. Through the bookshelves, she sees a surprised face under a hood, and a crossbow pointed at her face.
I think she's surrendering, Enya. What do we do? Who's saying anything about surrendering? Wait a moment. Enya? Enya Silverash? You're the Saintess. Shh.
Elena nods in realization.
Keep quiet, and we can talk, alright?
Elena nods carefully.
Put away your crossbow, Joanna. Let's not scare our friend here. But she sneaked into the Vinebead Court. Doesn't seem like something a good person would do. Well, we sneaked in too. Your attire. Are you from Rhine Lab? Yes, I'm Elena, a researcher in the energy section. I'm sorry, I was just looking for a map of Kjerag, preferably recording the locations of mountains and originium veins. If I find that special vein, maybe I could...
Special vein? Hold up. In the PV, in the most recent Terra PV that we watched from the 7th anniversary event, they confirmed that there were 3 prime veins. One is in Yan, one is in Kazdel, and there was a 3rd one missing.
Would that prime vein be in Kjerag?
Hold up. Is that what we're investigating? Can't believe we got spoiled by the 7th anniversary. That might be it.
You could what?
Elena glances at the young woman before her who looks about the same age as her while being the undisputed sovereign of this country. Elena is unsure if what she is about to say might offend her, but when she sees the pure curiosity on her face...
Maybe I can explain how this catastrophe happened. You mean that Kjerag has been safe from catastrophe for thousands of years because of a hidden originium vein?
Not just a hidden originium vein. It might be a prime vein. Hold up.
Yes, there's an undiscovered originium vein in the mountains surrounding Kjerag, which created an energy field that prevented catastrophes from forming.
I remember when I first theorized about some lines in the Kjeragander. The one where they said that Kjeragander froze its enemies and it became the 3 mountain peaks. Did Kjeragander freeze a giant vein to create the Kjerag Mountains? Was our theory correct?
Impossible! It's Kjeragander that protects Kjerag. Has anyone seen Kjeragander with their own eyes? Many people have witnessed the miracles of Kjeragander with their own eyes. I respect your culture and traditions, but that doesn't prove anything.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Just because you see something that can't be explained right now doesn't prove the existence of some supernatural being behind it.
I mean, Fahrenmits aren't exactly supernatural. They're godly beings, but they still can be killed. I mean, the closest thing we have to a god at this moment is Priestess.
How do you prove the veins have anything to do with it? The interactions between originium is extremely complex, and what we know is only the tip of the iceberg. Rhine Lab has conducted a number of experiments in recent years. Under certain conditions, originium can form energy fields that cause atmospheric originium particles to disperse, rather than converge, preventing the formation of catastrophes.
Interesting. First time we're hearing about this. In rare occurrences, originium can prevent catastrophes, not cause it. Interesting. We're gonna put a pin on that for whatever else we want to theorize about Enfield. Hold up. Interesting. Originium catastrophes do not happen on Talos 2, that's for sure. Mainly because they got blight catastrophes to deal with.
This is something we have not yet been able to recreate under controlled conditions. But if an originium vein with the right conditions exists, then preventing catastrophe may be a real possibility.
Hold up. No shot. We can tie this back to the seed that the Enman planted in Valley 4 that turned into the great originium oak. If the oak was around for a long time, no catastrophes occurred. Catastrophes aren't really a thing on Talos 2. By the time we reach Enfield, have we figured out the secret? The planting veins that prevent catastrophes? Is this the solution to the originium assimilation endgame? Instead of assimilating with originium, we learn to coexist with it in the same way that we eventually do in Enfield? Hold up! I'm cooking?
I've made detailed calculations. Excuse me, can I borrow this map?
Elena takes out her notebook and shows it to the other two. She goes on a long explanation about the formulas as she draws on the page, not paying attention to whether her listeners are able to keep up. Finally, Elena confidently draws a circle at a location in the foothills on the map. Therefore, the originium vein theory is the most likely explanation for Kjerag's lack of catastrophes. I'm quite sure that my calculations are accurate, and we can find an originium vein at this location. It would explain everything. Joanna's in a daze. She glances at Enya, hoping the Saintess will rebuke this blasphemy. But the Saintess is quiet, biting her lower lip lightly.
Say something! I don't know what the hell she's writing! How do you explain the recent catastrophe then?
One answer! Priestess! Fighting originium with originium, yeah, hermit. Brother, ever since Priestess's machinations have begun in OG Arknights, we're getting little bits that we could theorize to connect with Enfield.
Based on the data, I suspect something about something from beyond the star pod fell on Mount Carlin the day before the catastrophe.
Also, there's that. There was a UFO that crashed through the star pod from beyond Terra. I think it might be the presence. I'm gonna be terrified if it's the presence. What else could it be? Or it might be Kristen's ship. Maybe Kristen's ship returned. Hold up. It could be any of the space debris or satellites or ships that we've seen in space left behind by the precursors. It could be anything.
Look, these are the data that the station observed the day before the catastrophe. These are infrasound waves created by the impact of the extraterrestrial object.
Elena turns on her portable terminal, displaying a sharp beak on the line graph.
This object must be massive in size and scale. I think the catastrophe was caused by it falling onto the central area of the vein, causing a shift in the energy field.
Massive size and scale. What could it be? A large ship? A large entity? A new Farenmit? An alien? Like the presence?
There are reasons for all these things. It's not magic or the work of a god.
Okay. Elena, you gotta calm down. You can't keep saying that. You gotta be understanding of people's faiths. You can't just be, oh my science. Everything can be rationalized through logic and facts. Enya cannot comprehend what she's hearing. Her memory begins to blur, and she feels a sort of link being torn apart. Kjerag. A familiar voice, belonging to a friend. A miracle or a hallucination? She can't believe it. She must not. Fear and loneliness comes over her, and it is all she could do to keep her arms from trembling.
Say something, Enya. I can understand Elena's position. However, I recall a section of the Kjeragander. Her heart is the heart of Carlin, deep within the mountains. From the beating of her heart grew the flesh and bones of Kjerag. This is the description of the origins of Kjerag, as the scriptures record. We used to assume the heart of Carlin was Lake Silbernares, which was why we built Kjeragander's statue there.
Kjeragander got bonked by an asteroid. She got knocked out.
In my studies these past several days, however, I found that the ancient tomes considered the freezing of the heart of Carlin to be an unusual phenomena, but Lake Silbernares freezes every year. Sounds like a figure of speech. Don't interrupt the saintess while she's thinking. Maybe the heart of Carlin actually refers to something else. The Great Elder guided me to the Radsorn, but it is in fact the heart of Carlin that holds the answer. You mentioned the central area of this special vein. Yes, I built a model based on the shape of Kjerag's mountains, and I calculated that the extraterrestrial object likely fell on this location. Isn't this the Kjerag Kazimesh mines?
Hold up! The mines?
Mines, yes! Now it all makes sense. There's no time to waste. We need to go. One moment, foreigner. We didn't say anything about letting you around Kjerag on your own, not to mention all the disrespect you've shown to Kjeragander. It's alright, Joanna. We don't force our faith onto others. Besides, we need to find the truth behind this catastrophe. We'll let her travel with us. Elena?
While Enya and Joanna were talking, Elena put the books back on the shelf and now sits on the windowsill, waving at the other two.
Actually, there's usually no one at the main entrance to the Hall of Writings.
Cold moonlight pours through the dark clouds upon the decorations in Ratatos's room. Cirrus thought that she would be afraid to see Ratatos's things, but she feels so tired that she does not even have the strength for sorrow. She knows full well that she simply imitated Ratatos in dealing with the other clans a few days ago. But the more she tries, the more Ratatos's shadow lingers. Cirrus looks outside. It seems snow is once again falling on Browntail land.
Look, Cirrus. Do this to the snowball and it'll go even further when you throw it. Try it. I don't need you to teach me. I don't want to become you. I hate you. I hate everything you make me do.
The echoes of a memory are like the deafening roar of a mountain collapsing. She feels a lump in her chest. The dust-covered contracts and letters in the box bear witness to the development of Clan Browntail over the years. Cirrus examines the marks left behind by Ratatos on the family business documents and finds at the bottom of each page where the name of the Browntail matriarch should be. Cirrus.
Remember, Cirrus. I'm your oldest sister, and I'll become the leader of Clan Browntail, so you need to listen to me. Prove that you could do better. You're not happy about that. When that time comes, I hope you'll carry the future of Clan Browntail on your shoulders.
We never found the body. I still don't believe that she's dead. Cirrus anxiously flips through the pages. but each and every document has her name on it. Until she reaches the bottom of the pile, the little box from her memory. The secret that belongs to the two of them. This holds all the things that I want to give you, but don't want the adults to see. Don't tell anyone. It's a secret. A secret between the two of us. You and me. This is a communicator. Hold up. Why would she leave behind the communicator? Sarah's gazes at the device in hand, the dim light illuminating her hesitation. The final audio log. Is it just an audio log? I got Carlin Trade's intel about the suspicious woman. I've been watching her all morning and I think she's planning to make a run for it. This voice, it's Monch? Good. Keep a close eye on her. Don't let her get away, or pass the documents to anyone else. Yes, ma'am. Carlin Trade says we need to be careful and not draw attention. Take her alive, if possible. There are a lot of questions we need to ask her. I'll tell NC Otis to send help from Carlin Trade. Understood. I'll do my best. Be careful, and don't leave loose ends. Finally, there is an unanswered call from Carlin Trade. Call time? Yesterday? Carlin Trade? What? What were Silver Ash and Ratatos plotting? Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh. Elena encounters Enya in the Hall of Writings. They decide to work together. Ceres finds a message from her sister, learns that Ratatos has been working with Enciotis behind the scenes. Oh. So they were working together behind the double cross. Interesting. Emerald, OS-6. Patience is the virtue of a hunter. It will help you find a gap, an opportunity, a beginning, and a dawn of friendship. Meanwhile, in Victoria, oh my god! Trilby Asher! How much longer?
Patience, please, Mr. Bellingham. As you know, the Duke has been very busy lately, having to receive several guests each day. You should remember, sir, the last time I came here. So I'd like to ask, how has she been lately? Fairly pleasant for the most part. After all, the negotiations with the Kazimieshans have been nearing completion over the past few days.
As soon as he finishes speaking, a dejected gentleman strides past the Trilby Asher. The Trilby Asher recognizes him as Derek, head of the press office. Perhaps due to the recent wave of bad publicity, he wipes the sweat off his brow with trembling hands.
I suspect today is not such a day.
Is that Bellingham outside? Let him in first. Don't keep him waiting.
The butler nods and the Trilby Asher hesitates for a moment before stepping into the room. Seated in the middle is the Duke of Castor, with a young noble standing at her side. Gilf, welcome back. Humana, awooga!
I have another question. What kind of person is this Kazimeshan representative that you met?
He's a merchant, Your Grace.
Kazimiesh. Tell him that should he agree to my terms, I'm willing to lift some of the embargoes on industrial equipment. For them, there are many ways to obtain cheap materials, and Kjerag is hardly irreplaceable.
The mines. I will let him know that only Victoria can satisfy his technological and equipment needs, especially when it comes to Originium. No. You are a member of House Caster. These minutiae are best left for servants to convey, whereas we should always leave ourselves room to maneuver. The Kazimieshans know very little about the resources we command, so why not let them exercise their imagination? You understand? No worries. I guarantee that he will side with us. Forever honor your commitments. If you cannot, don't make them in the first place. That is true of the Kazimieshan representative, and even more so for me. You may leave. Yes, my apologies, Your Grace. Once again, you have to see me disciplining these good-for-nothing whelps. Belly? I thank Your Grace for the trust that you have placed in me. Let's not waste time on small talk. I trust you saw the gentleman who left earlier, yes? If I'm not mistaken, that was a certain Derek, the man in charge of news and public opinion. He should have reported to me that the negative press, be it about Kjerag or Victoria, was under control. He was instead quite profuse with his complaints, going on and on about how he couldn't do it, that it would take a long time to communicate with the film crew, that he wanted to trouble me to watch the footage they sent back. If he feels like he hasn't been given enough time, he should have known that my patience has its limits too. So, do you have any good news for me, Belly? Yes, Your Grace. Our informant at the Rhine Lab Observatory provided very accurate intel indeed. There is something highly suspicious about the mining site in which Kjerag is working with Kazimiesh. What is going on? I'm once again getting led back to Silver Ash being the main issue. Carlin Trade was the one that set up the cooperative Kazimiesh and Kjerag mines. What did Silver Ash set up in those mines? Judging by what Carolyn said, it has nothing to do with the battleships. What did Silver Ash discover in the mines? Maybe the mines were a cover-up for something that he was looking into. Inside, deep in the Kjerag Mountains. Following the clues that she provided, my men successfully infiltrated the site and obtained these data tables. Just point out the highlights. Please look at this section, and the subsequent section on the next page. The former represents the mine's daily output, whereas the latter represents the purchase volume and export volume. Finally, the last page is the mine's financial report. Pay particular attention to the net profitability figure, for example, in the last 2 months. The difference is massive. This mining site has been operating at a loss, and the greater the extraction, the greater the losses. Exactly. We even found this mine import record. Please take a look. A large mining site needs to separately import the very same materials. Therefore, I believe this confirms the earlier theory. This so-called joint mining project is actually Carlin Trade's arsenal in disguise. Okay. It's where they're building Kjerag's military power. As if we didn't already know that by the battleships that they were building. And this is a trump card that has to be flipped over, sitting right there in a mining site shared jointly with a foreign company. She's right. It's way too obvious. It's multiple layers of espionage. First layer, it's a mining operation. Second layer, it's where they're keeping Kjerag munitions and military development. There's a deeper layer that Silver Ash is up to. What is he hiding with all these layers? Has he known all about the secret to Kjerag? Which is why our agents, including myself, initially overlooked this area. It is hard to imagine that anyone could stomach such a risk. Placing a piece in what normally would be a blind spot. It's very much his style. However, you're still one move behind, Belly. As difficult as it is to admit, when Wellington made his move, it became imperative for us to strengthen ourselves. Given these circumstances, Kjerag is a valuable asset. I will not accept a lose-lose scenario. We must ensure that Enceotis' military preparations do not catch us flat-footed. Only by knowing what his trump card actually is, we could properly plan against Kjerag in advance. Hold up. Trump card. They still don't know about the battleships? Or is that just another red herring? Did Silver Ash discover the true nature of Kjar and Kjeragander? Did he find a way to control Kjeragander? Your Grace, if you wish to confront the Duke of Wellington, bringing Kjerag under the control of House Castor as well as seizing their manpower and resources is of utmost priority. I personally believe that we should conduct a comprehensive survey of this mining site. I believe the Kazimeshans will accept your term, and it's only a matter of time until they withdraw from Kjerag. As soon as we take control of this mining area, I will send our envoys there immediately. Why not act before the paperwork is officially signed? We cannot give Carl and Trade the time to cover their tracks. So, under the buyer's name, look for another excuse through the Vinebead Court. Even if they suspect something is amiss with the Kazimeshans, a hasty retreat would inevitably leave traces behind. Vinebead Court is ultimately an expendable asset. Due to your previous botched job, there is no way Enceotis would not have his eye on them. Then we'll squeeze every last drop of value from the Vinebead Court before Enceotis makes his move. Is that truly the missing step, Belly? Be more economical and think it through some more. The current Great Elder has consistently turned down my goodwill, and given the inability to mobilize the full strength of the Vinebead Court, we must be more careful when accessing the feasibility of this plan. Yet, Your Grace, he did not stop us from infiltrating the lower and middle ranks either. Perhaps this is a Vinebead Court's persistent arrogance, ripe for us to take advantage. Perhaps the allure of overthrowing Enceotis will prove to be a gift too irresistible for Kjerag's religious figures. What? What do you mean the Vinebead Court might be having machinations versus Silver Ash? So do you intend to? You're free to move the pawns inside the Vinebead Court as you please, but you must find out exactly what is going on within the mining site. Let us wait to see how Enceotis reacts. He might just give us another reason to get involved in Kjerag. Yes, Your Grace. Right. I'd like you to do me a favor. Derek left some odds and ends behind. Go ahead and take them with you. When it comes to our dealings with foreign nations, we always have some journalist friends who make too much noise. Victorian reporter? Oh, the one that was asking around. I remember her. Can I set the camera up right here? Thank you. Let's get started if you're ready. Wait a minute! Is Great Elder Adso the one that is secretly plotting against Silver Ash? Hold up. The previous Great Elder did secede his position to Great Elder Adso. Oh, Venerable Great Elder Adso. Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview. I sincerely hope that you're willing to answer a few of my questions, as well as those of the countless others who want to know more about Kjerag. First, I'd like to ask about something that many around Kjerag have been curious about recently. The people of Kjerag broadly believe that Kjeragander protects this land. In your opinion,
How would you explain this catastrophe? Does this mean that Kjerag has lost its divine protection?
That is correct. Kjeragander indeed watches over this land. However, she is not a tyrant who imposes harsh decrees, but rather a patient mentor and a guiding hand. Her protection of Kjerag is not as straightforward as many would imagine. Her knowledge of the true way of life runs deep, and so she taught the people of Kjerag how to live in this land filled with calamity and devoid of thought. Thus the people of Kjerag came to have a soul, and that many calamities no longer disturb them.
Even so, I'm still very curious as to how a god who neither reveals its true form nor performed any miracles as proof of its divinity can earn the people's faith. This belief seems to lack any grounding in evidence.
Guessed from afar, I could see that you hide your arrogance behind polite words. You try to reduce Kjerag's beliefs into a most basic form of logic, which you then criticize in an attempt to extol your own correctness and wisdom.
Please believe me, that was not my intent.
It's fine. Don't worry. Then may I ask you a question first? In your opinion, what kind of principles do the Victorians, who observe no religion, follow in their lives?
That's a simple answer. Victoria has her own laws.
Who drafted these laws, and who granted them the authority to do so?
If you're asking about the legitimacy of the Victorian regime, we need only look back at a history to answer that question. The land was originally occupied by Dracos until 300 years ago, when Aslans from Sargon launched a rebellion in Victoria, ultimately seizing control of the country.
Then I take it that in your view, might makes right. Aslans are strong, and therefore righteous. Dracos are weak, and therefore unjust. This so-called justice shifts just as easily as the balance of power in war. By the same logic, the devils of Kazdel should feel no shame or remorse about invading the lands of other nations. Their only sin being that they fell one step short of ultimate victory.
Ooh! Ooh! He debate lorded your ass!
That is a patently absurd conclusion.
Of course. I doubt that any regime would hinge its legitimacy upon violence, because they all know too well that violence will inevitably be undone by greater violence. Nothing can remain young and mighty forever, neither people nor governments. Therefore, they must become compassionate, in hope that the same compassion will be afforded to them when they are weak. So let us return to that question. Why do the legal principles we take for granted, or rather the virtues prevalent across different civilizations sharing this land, exist in the first place? To where should we direct our questions? Do we possess the sublimity inherent to being human? Are our lives innately meaningful?
Apologies, but I'm not well versed in these subjects of philosophical speculation. May I ask, what is the point of these questions that seem far removed from our daily lives?
It's not far removed. He's asking you whether morality is inherent in being human, or do we get it from somewhere else? Whether through laws or a higher being, dog? Like, are people good inherently that we create laws to coexist with each other? What were these beliefs given to us by a higher power? Did we learn them through facts and logic? Brother, this is the faith versus this is the discussion about faith that we're having all throughout this event. We're questioning the nature of our faith, the nature of our laws, beliefs, structural societal systems, the fair and myths. I'm kind of feeling like there should be a joke somewhere in Terran lore. Like, a Kjerag person and a Yan person both walk into the room. Walk into a bar. They start discussing their views on Fahrenmits. The Chinese person goes, "Oh, Fahrenmits? We killed them a long time ago." The Kjerag person drops dead in shock. What do you mean you killed your gods? Most of them.
You mentioned life. In fact, as long as you seriously reflect upon your life, you will easily find that there is nobody on this great land who is entirely devoid of faith.
Faith in a higher being, faith in others to maintain social cohesion, aka the laws that we have, like in real life even, the laws that we have to make sure that things don't fall into discord. It's not, is it a production of faith? Is it a production of merely our social existence with each other?
People always choose to place their faith in something, be it money, violence, knowledge, fame, philanthropy, or pleasure.
The theory of the God hole, in that every single person has a God hole that centers their worldview. Some people, their God hole is filled with religion and faith. Some people fill it with with hedonistic pleasures. Some people fill it with support systems that they built throughout their life, moral systems that they developed on their own, independent of actual religions and faith. You know, the God hole. Everyone has one.
If a person genuinely believes that nothing is inherently true, then he will quickly find himself akin to a puppet with its strings cut, unable to move at all. The followers of Kjeragander seek the eternal solace of the mind by questioning ourselves and seeking out the traces of her existence.
An interesting thought indeed. This seems quite different from the common perceptions floating around Kjerag.
Please tell me, what was your perception of Kjerag before you witnessed the human tragedy caused by the catastrophe? The last pure land on Terra, a sanctuary protected by the gods. A land of simple and kind, poor but happy people.
You're quite well versed in these touristy catchphrases.
It was your people who discovered and abused the power of Originium, which ruined everything. You know that countless people drowned beneath the waves that you stirred.
Oh. Adso is clocking, Miss Interviewee.
And it is this guilt that led you people to weave your illusions into the fantasy of Kjerag. A paradise where no one can reap the benefits of Originium with none of the costs. You imagine purity because you know filth, innocence because you know deception, magnanimity because you know opportunism, piety because you know nihilism. How then can you see the farmers who've left their homeland behind, the craftsmen whose unfinished goods pile up like a mountain, and the hunters who return home empty-handed? You might even deny the existence of these people so that you may feel at ease when you swallow the blood and sweat of us savages to purify your souls.
Oh, bars! Oh shit! Elder Adso is clocking Victorian imperialism. Oh shit!
As an investigative dirt journalist, it is my responsibility to spread the truth. And I'm hardly the only Victorian who cares about the truth regarding Kjerag.
Bitch, we just saw a couple scenes ago and know that you work for Caster. You're making propaganda to show Victorians about how, ooh, look how backwards the Kjerag are. They need to be subjugated. They need to manifest their destiny with a little help From us, noble Victorians, we have to uplift these savages that believe so much in a primitive faith. God damn, dog, we know you're working for Castor.
Young lady, you promised to spread the truth about Kjerag across the lands, yet your lenses are pointed at those who are more lost, more deserving of pity. Do you think we should call this the truth, or simply a fable? I must admit, your questions have left me chagrined, be it my colleagues or myself. It is hard to set down our morbid curiosity as onlookers. All you need to know is that Kjerag's belongings are not playthings sitting behind the glass of a Victorian shop. Kjerag does not and will not need anyone's pity or charity. Kjerag will always be the people of Kjeragander, the home of the Kjerag people.
All right, I think I'm convinced now. So, in your opinion, the catastrophe will not shake the people's faith in Kjeragander?
To be honest, Kjerag's faith is undergoing a serious test. I cannot deny that this catastrophe has sown the seeds of darkness in the hearts of people, causing them to gradually turn to violence and selfishness, abandoning many of their former virtues. But was all this due to a catastrophe? A seed cannot germinate without the proper soil. The current turmoil in Kjerag only proves that people's beliefs had already changed long before the catastrophe itself. And the cause of all of this is
Silver Ash. You're gonna blame Silver Ash. NCO this, baby! Oh, shit! The Vinebead Court have been planning to overthrow Silver Ash's control. Oh, shit! Are you referring to Mr. NCO de Silver Ash, the chairman of Carlin Trade?
For thousands of years, Kjerag had been spared from catastrophe by our adherence to the order laid down by our god. However, the Vinebead Court is not the rigidly conservative institution that outsiders think. Even in the era before power was restored to the three clans, records in the Vinebead Court's Hall of Writings confirm that the court was involved in, and sometimes even instrumental to, the vast majority of changes across Kjerag's history. However, we simply remind ourselves constantly of the wisdom and virtues she taught us, ensuring that each step we take does not become counterproductive. And this order formed through the Vinebead Court has proven its reliability and stability over the long years. Yet, when you don your skis and snowboards and zoom down our snow-capped peaks, how often do you turn back to look at those who lack the condition and ability to keep up?
He's right. He has a point. Johanna's family. The Pale Roaches that have been watching over the wilderness of Kjerag. They saw firsthand what rapid industrialization has done to Kjerag's ecology. He has a point.
No matter how much you might want to turn back and wait, the falling snow will obstruct your view until the exhilaration carried upon the wind engulfs your every thought.
You believe that Kjerag's current reforms are too radical?
Therefore, if anyone can be held responsible for the current state of Kjerag, It can only be Enceotis.
So, as an elder of the Vine Bead Court, are you planning on making any changes in response to this situation?
No. I won't lightly say that I'll be making any changes myself. I simply believe that, for thousands of years, the enemies of Kjeragander have all vanished into the snowdrifts of history.
What the fuck? Meanwhile, back with Elena.
The registration documents are all here. Please make sure this envelope makes its way to Mr. Edelweiss of Carlin Trade.
Don't worry, ma'am. We were established by Carlin Trade and know Mr. Edelweiss very well. There won't be any mistakes.
Glad to hear it.
Elena turns her head somewhat nervously. After the catastrophe, the people of Kjerag have largely preferred to remain at home, with one exception, the market. Hundreds of people crowded together in the residential areas, temples, stores, and street stalls, the sorrows on their faces matching the gloomy weather. At the far end of the market, Joanna is gesturing with her hands, her mouth open as if beckoning for her to come quickly.
Be right there. Gotta keep a low profile.
Elena lowers her head and turns her face away, hurrying away against the flow of pedestrians. Countless Kjerag people brush past her, while another Rhine Lab employee squeezes into the crowd and follows the current. Carolyn!
Why should we choose the most overcrowded place?
What is this star-crossed lovers bullshit? They were right there and they passed each other. People are forced to gather here in order to barter for necessities,
to receive relief supplies, that they suppress their fears of fact worn on their sleeves, many of them showing up in naught but simple local attire.
Carolyn instinctively pulls her coat in tighter, walking past the men and women until she stops at the entrance to a quiet little temple. She leans against the door frame, its paint worn and peeling, and hesitantly turns her head to look around, searching for someone else who also has an appointment.
Damn it, the bell already rang. All I wanted was to find a place to continue my research. Why am I stuck doing this kind of work?
She pounds the wall next to her angrily until suddenly a hoarse question reaches her ears. Oh, lost lady, why do you treat the property of Kjeragander in such a manner?
I'm sorry. How should I make amends?
There's no need for that. Set everything down and come with me. Should it be agreeable to you, please rest in the courtyard. I shall explain the profundity of the scriptures to you, so as to soothe your restless heart. Is Monch not with her? She did get injured by the avalanche, implying that she had broken bones. The old man unlocks the temple gate and Carolyn pauses apprehensively to look around before stepping inside. The devotee then follows her in and shuts the gate again. I thought she was going to the landing zone of the UFO.
You're the one they mentioned? The one who could bring me out. Choosing to meet up here is incredibly risky, is it not?
People are undoubtedly going to be anxious in the aftermath of a catastrophe. Wandering around in sparsely populated open areas is only going to invite more suspicion. Let's get down to business. We don't have time to waste. Have you acquired all the intel?
I have, but it's not meant for you. The Duke of Caster's men promised that once they took over the mine, I would be able to leave Kjerag via the internal railway.
Yeah, okay. Confirmed that you're Caster's spy. Maybe not from the get-go, but eventually they got to you and offered you something.
I don't know what they told you, but now's the time for you to do your part.
The mine is currently in the handover period. Once the Victorians have finished their inspection, I will take you there to meet them. I ask for your patience, madame. It is a precious virtue indeed.
I hope this is the last time.
Meanwhile, headed towards the landing zone.
Did you hear that? Hear what? Sounded a bit like thunder. How strange. Seemed to come from the mountains. And also, Chew! What's this? The tip of my nose feels all chilly. Huh? That's weird. Why is it snowing again? We're in the middle of a snowy season. What's so strange about that? No, that can't be. Even at this time of year, there's always signs before it starts snowing.
Oh, Kjerag? The girl lifts her head, her expression suddenly turning serious.
It's snowing, but it doesn't smell like snow. It's very strange.
Is it a catastrophe? Is it Originium snow?
An old man once said that the snow only loses its scent when something truly terrible is about to happen. Is Kjeragander warning us again? Divine will is less important than how heavy the snowfall is going to be, and how it will threaten our safety. As for the scent of snow, you mentioned the air temperature and humidity changes before it snows, which may give off the illusion of a peculiar scent.
She's way too rational, dog.
But to treat this as some way of gauging the weather, or even as a divination of some sort is, well, I frankly don't think it makes any sense.
She is so Reddit atheist.
No. The scent of snow is the scent of snow, not some other smell. Kjeragander has given hunters a keen sense of smell and eyes that can see in the dark. On the snowfields, we know much more than you do. Okay then. I don't mean to question your personal experience, but I still have to act according to my own experience.
As Elena speaks, she sets up an observation equipment and begins to carefully record the data. The girl pouts discontentedly, looking at the device with a distinctively old-fashioned Kjerag look.
That lump of metal of yours has been beeping this entire time, and it's heavy too. We would have gotten here sooner without having to lug it around. But it's how we can make sure that every step we take is safe and secure. After a catastrophe, we must be extremely cautious inside Originium zones.
A sudden gust of wind, causing Elena to stumble, but Joanna catches her from behind, just in the nick of time.
Thanks.
Humph. The chilly snowflake-laced winds sweeps over them, and all other noise ceases, save for the whistling wind and its sharp, biting cold.
How did the temperature drop so sharply all of a sudden? Is this? I know of a deserted village up ahead. Let's head over there and find the house to shelter in.
Enya, who has been lagging behind the group because she was flipping through her notebook, steps in between the two. She stretches her palms out, her fingertips only slightly reddened by the cold.
Come, take my hand. The fresh snow is too slippery, and the terrain here is steep as well. It would be terrible if someone slipped and fell here. You're both hesitating? Do you not want to hold my hands? Enya, Your Holiness, no thank you.
One hand extends forward.
I'm just doing this for Her Holiness.
Joanna turns her head away, but nevertheless places her hand within Enya's. What's with all this meekness? It's just three gals holding hands in the snow?
Phew. Thankfully the temple is in much better shape than the other buildings, because there's still people who come by occasionally to do repairs.
Three shake off their thick snow from their cloaks. They arrive at the village only briefly before the snow starts to come down heavily, fluttering down like feathers.
You two. Go ahead and rest. I'll see if the fireplace here can still be lit. You can usually find small woodshed behind the village temple. I'll go take a look. Need my help? I'm good. You. Didn't you say you were going to do the weather forecast? Just go do your thing. I've already set it up. The measuring device will automatically gather data from our surrounding area, so I could help you carry... I told you I'm good. Don't follow me.
Before Elena can even stand up, Joanna already manages to feel out the small door behind the temple statue with practiced ease. The layout of any Kjerag monastery is more or less the same. The girl rushes out back and the door slams loudly behind her. You're way too much of a Reddit atheist.
Did I do something to upset her?
You might also be kinda autistic. Hold up. Sensing a bit of neurodivergency there. Actually, your god wasn't protecting you all this time. It was just a large originium vein.
Maybe just a little, but not that much. Don't worry about it. Joanna is a kind girl. Even when she's grumpy, she still wants you to be warm. Just like not long ago, when she protected me from assassins even though she despises me. However, for many of Kjerag's villagers, your thoughts and words can hurt them, even if they are without malice. I'm sorry, I was too rash. That's not your fault, nor is it the fault of Kjerag's people. If anything is at fault, perhaps it is simply your differences. Any sort of communication between people is about these differences. Even partners who work together in the lab sharing the same ideas and goals can still have disagreements. Which is why communication and understanding between people is so precious.
Enya folds her cloak and puts it aside, points to a snowflake on it that has not yet melted.
Oh, look at that. A snowflake? The people of Kjerag sometimes use snowflakes that have not melted upon stepping indoors as a form of divination. These unbroken branch-like snowflakes are a sign that our journey will be smooth. According to folklore, the snow is a messenger protected by Kjeragander, carrying important truths and omens. It can predict the harvest, the hunt, the craftsman's hammerfall, and even quarrels between friends and lovers. Some may say that this iconic tree-like hexagonal snowflake with well-defined branches is a sign of good fortune, but others just as easily see within it a broken connection, an omen of disaster. And so, regardless of what happens in the end, the fortune teller always has something to say.
Bro, come on, man. Just play along. You don't have to be a Reddit atheist about everything. Actually, fortune tellers just vague post about everything so that whatever happens, it'll fall into their predictions.
Worst case scenario, they always say, the diviner you met was just bad, the movement of the stars had already revealed the truth long ago, and use that to defend their authority. You seem quite knowledgeable about divination, Elena.
Enya is just being way too polite. Or she's too kind-hearted.
You could say I've had some run-ins with them, due to family circumstances.
Your sister is a diviner. At least I remember that. You're the black sheep of the family, being, oh my science, you could explain everything with rational thought.
In any case, most divination has nothing to do with revealing the truth. It's just a form of self-delusion and sophistry. A place where no people wish to go has no roads leading to it. If a problem does not exist, there will be no solution created to resolve it. Fate is a fickle thing, just as your science should acknowledge that there are many things on this land that cannot be controlled or predicted. On this great land, we are but a tiny people trying to grasp a glimmer of the prophetic and the true.
She's right! As much of a rational thought Andy as I am, similar to Elena, she is right, man. There are things about reality that we still cannot perceive.
Is this so different from the origins of scientific discovery? Knowledge is what makes people feel safe and allows them to feel an unreasonably uncertain future. In a sense, coincidence, probability, and fate are all the same concept. Fate falls on many just as this snowflake has fallen on my cloak.
What's that saying again? Fate is coincidence given meaning? I forgot how that saying goes. If you give meaning to coincidence, it becomes fate. Or it becomes a miracle.
I get it. Even placebos can be an efficacious type of medicine. But I've also seen many things in modern Kjerag. In the past, I always tried to see such strong beliefs as a kind of cultural phenomena, a ritual, a projection, a form of comfort seeking. But what exactly are they to you people?
The God hole, man! It is the spiritual support in some people to have faith. Whether or not that actual faith is a tangible thing in reality, it is something that supports the hearts of some people that you can't just deny by being a Reddit atheist Andy. I'm agnostic, dog. But even I have come to these conclusions that everyone has a God hole, and as long as they are living their best positive lives in service of others and not to harm others, whatever fills that God hole is fine. Kjerag's Saintess looks up at the statue of Kjeragander on the altar, beneath a slab of stone engraved with messy markings. Several brightly colored figurines sit side by side. They were exhibition goods produced around the time of Lake Silberner's ceremony. By the look of things, someone brought them to this village temple as an offering to the reclusive Kjeragander.
The clerics of the Vinebead Court often describe faith as walking into darkness without a lamp, or leaping fearlessly into a silent ravine. Everyone always seems to yearn for her. Ascetics, devout believers, faithful followers of the commandments. Countless people endure innumerable hardships just to reach her side. But for me...
She tries hard to recall, but the memories in her mind are now but struggling fragments, jumping around like frames from a movie shrouded in a dark haze. A strong emotion surges once more within Enya's heart? No shot. Wait a minute. Is Kjerag dead? Or is she about to die in this event? Because as we've learned from the Sui saga, at least from the Suis, when a Fermet proxy dies, dematerializes, their memory gets erased from everyone that's known them. But whatever tangible things they contributed to the world remain. What do you mean that Enya is getting hazy memories of Kjeragander? What did they mean by that? Are they... This can't be. This can't be the first permanent death that we have in Arknights of a playable character, right? Hold up. Trouble! Joanna suddenly rushes in with a gasp. Firewood in her arms, her cheeks flushed from running.
I just saw, coming down the mountain, lots of Victorian cars, heading for the mine. Victorians? That mine is a joint operation with Kazimierz. What are they trying to do there? Have they already picked up on our trail? Don't panic just yet. Regardless of what business they have with the mine, we have to hurry. Let's pack up our things and set out immediately. We need to be even more careful and discreet on the road ahead. Just a second, please. I need to pack up my instrument first and it... Wait, how could this... What are you dawdling around for? Hurry up and pack it up. Here, I'll help you.
The mistake from her is that she thinks the Saintess believes in God, but she actually believes in... girl loves? What?
What is this? This moderate catastrophe risk written here. Does it mean what I think it means? A second catastrophe is gonna hit Kjerag?
Mr. President, a second catastrophe has hit the tower.
Catastrophe? Could there be another catastrophe brewing?
What the hell? Also, a lot of philosophical musings in this chapter. Holy shit, I'm enjoying it a lot. I will be right back and refill my water, and then we will continue. I have returned and refilled my water. My chair is so gross right now. It's so fucking hot in Southeast Asia. I think my chair is in a perpetual state of being sweaty as fuck from my wet ass. Oh my god. He meant Promenix and Kjerag are in a relationship with each other. She only believes in her girlfriend. Okay, let's continue. OS-6 after. Meanwhile, back at the Silver Ashes, never mind, back at the Brown Tails.
You know, it's getting hard to get an audience with you these days. Otis.
I'm truly sorry I was unable to attend the matriarch's funeral. Madam Cirrus, I'm deeply saddened by what has befallen the Browntail clan. Please let me know if there's anything Clan Silver Ash can do to help.
Thanks, Otis. But that's not what I came here to discuss.
Your visit this time, Madame Cirrus, must be to give me a chance to earn your trust.
Humph. My sister once told me that you're the least trustworthy when you lower your head like this.
I wonder about your opinion of me then.
You don't have to beat around the bush. I don't like it. My sister used to scold me for being impulsive and for not always thinking things through before I speak or act. I wanted to prove to her that I didn't need to hide under her wing, but I could do something for Clan Browntail. But now, as the new matriarch of the clan, there's no one left for me to prove anything to.
I understand how you feel. I also have 2 younger sisters.
And you think they're both smarter than me, huh? Both Encia and the Saintess?
You think too little of yourself, Madame Cirrus. However, I do think that they share your persistence and determination.
Is Encia okay? I heard she was in an accident.
Thank you for your concern. She is safe and sound, and she's already returned home.
You always keep that calm and composed demeanor. What I want to know is, these attacks on Kjerag, including what happened to my sister, did you know about them ahead of time?
So this is the real reason you decided to visit me today.
Otis, my sister has been helping you this entire time, isn't that right? I wasn't totally in the dark about it, but it wasn't until her passing that I learned. Your plans for Victoria, Rhinelab, at what Monch has been investigating, there's too much I don't know anything about.
Yeah, what has Monch been investigating? It's the thing that Carolyn was researching. And how is that connected to whatever is hidden in your Kazimeshan mines?
Don't try to deny it. Don't lie to me, Ensiotis. You have to know the truth behind the murder.
If you truly believe I had a hand in the matriarch's death.
No, that's not what I mean. I don't know what Ratatos is plotting with you, but I know for sure that whatever it was to protect Kjerag. So, I will follow in her footsteps. Whatever Clan Browntail's affairs may be, I will take responsibility for them. Which is why I need you to tell me exactly what happened to her.
The door opens.
My apologies, Sir Ensiotis, but they were determined to break in no matter what. To what do I owe the honor for you all to barge into my home like this?
It's the Vinebead Court.
Sir Ensiotis, why did Carlin Trade transfer all of its shares in the Kjerag Kazimeshan joint mining operation to Victoria without authorization? Where did this news come from? It is an observable fact. The mines have been completely taken over by the Victorians. Great Elder Adso believes that such actions by Carlin Trade constitute illegal collusion with a foreign power, and as such, the Vinebead Court has no choice but to exercise its authority to intervene. We require you to report to the Vinebead Court immediately to explain yourself.
If I understand this correctly, the Vinebead Court means to formally interrogate Clan Silverash.
The people of Kjerag are uneasy as it is. The last thing we want to see is this conflict escalating further. However, Sir Ensiotis, as the head of the clan, if you still believe you bear responsibility for Kjerag, please go to the Vinebead Court with us to discuss the next steps.
Very well. I have no reason to refuse. However, if I am to explain the situation, I will need some time to prepare the relevant documents. Please allow me that. Furthermore, I still have some things to discuss with Madame Cirrus, so I would like to ask for your patience.
Of course, Sir Ensiotis.
Madame Cirrus, thank you for taking the time to look after Encia. I would like to formally invite you to be a guest of Clan Silverash. I would also like to thank you for your concern in person, while Encia is present as well.
What?
It would be more courteous to have sent an official invitation to you in a formal capacity, but given the hasty nature of this matter, the best I could do is throw something together by hand. I do hope you'll forgive me. We look forward to you gracing us with your presence. What? Before his invitee can respond, Ensiotis picks up a pen and paper from the table, scribbles down a few lines, and then hands the invitation over. She takes it. There's only an address on the piece of paper, hardly an invitation at all. Secret message.
Thank you for the invitation. I'll be there on time.
Yes, all we're doing is visiting Encia, who is recovering from the attempt at assassination. That is definitely all we're doing. Yes. To Mr. Edelweiss of Carlin Trade. I hope this letter finds you well. At the same time you read this, I'm yet to receive SITREP authorization from Rhine Labs, so please take note. The letter does not in any capacity serve as an agreement or treaty between Rhine Lab and Carlin Trade. Perhaps it only represents my personal analysis of the recent phenomena in Kjerag. My specimen comes from the sound waves collected from the observation station at 3:19 a.m. December 7, 1101. Specimen? sound waves? 3 a.m. December 7? Before the catastrophe struck? I can say for certain that at that time an unidentified object fell from the sky onto Mount Carlan. Though the chain of evidence definitely linking the phenomena is still missing, a catastrophe did in fact occur 32 hours later. I do not intend to establish a causal link between these two things. If this crash is a singular event in history, then so too is the catastrophe. I got hiccups. What I am preparing to do is to confirm whether or not there is an empirical connection between these two events. Additionally, do forgive my frankness. If the hypothesis that these two events are linked does bear out, the outcome for Kjerag is not optimistic. Whatever factor that has protected Kjerag from catastrophes over the millennia may no longer be effective, or at least be in an unstable state. Priestess! Messing with the veins all across Terra. Messing with the vein that has protected Kjerag for all these years. Turning it into Oka and shit. I would of course love to write this off as mere conjecture, but nevertheless, I also hope that Carlin Trade will be adequately mindful of the potential risks moving forward. Carolyn, an insider with more detailed information, has likely made similar interferences, but I am in the dark as to what her objectives are at this moment. I will strive to complete this research while maintaining an objective and rational perspective, and would greatly appreciate Carlin Trade's support in my efforts. This isn't from Carolyn. Who is this from? Silence or Mulesees? Or Elena? Respectfully, Elena Urbica. Okay, she's relaying the information that we learned about the UFO. Come in.
I was just looking for you, Director. Take this letter over to NCODIS. Classified top secret. Yes, sir. Right away. Any other news? Yes, the observation post previously dispatched to the mining site has sent back a sighting report. A convoy bearing Victorian markings is approaching the outskirts of the mine, but the specific origins are unknown. Matterhorn led his clansmen there ahead of time. He said that he would try to stall it for as much time as possible and await your judgment. Victorians would have come sooner or later. Looks like we won't have to wait any longer. Prepare vehicles as soon as possible. Matterhorn may not be able to hold them off for long. Tell him to let the other party make the first move and prioritize observation. I will arrive shortly.
I'm warning you. Don't get in our way if you know what's good for you.
I'm simply following orders. The area ahead is a restricted warehouse. Nobody is allowed to enter without Carlin Trade's permission.
Has no one informed you that House Castor has acquired all of Kazimesh's rights to this site?
To the best of my knowledge, the handover process is still underway. We were only notified by Kazimesh yesterday.
Which is why we have to inspect all the assets in advance. If you have complaints, you can take them up with Her Grace, the Duke. Now listen to your betters and open the warehouse door post-haste. Finally, someone worth talking to. Mr. Gnosis Edelweiss Homotron 3000 of Carlin Trade.
It seems the introduction I've prepared will be going to waste, good sir.
Of course. Naturally, you understand who I'm representing here. Due to your mismanagement and the resultant substantial financial losses, Her Grace the Duke has decided to dismiss some key employees of Carlin Trade employed at this site, including the former executive manager.
This I have no objection. I will fully cooperate during the handover process.
Excellent. Now then, Mr. Edelweiss, please open the warehouse door.
However,
On this point alone, I cannot comply. What Matterhorn said is true. There are indeed regulations pertaining to this confidential warehouse. I humbly ask for yours and Her Grace's understanding. Based on the information I have, the security clearance level of this warehouse was raised just recently. What do you say to this, Mr. Edelweiss? Oh, allow me to explain. The warehouse is mainly used to store various kinds of industrial waste, but recently the purification system and negative pressure ventilation system both malfunctioned. We temporarily raised the security clearance level and strictly restricted access in the interim before professionals can handle this situation. I fully understand Her Grace's concern about the assets acquired, but for your safety, could I ask that this inspection be postponed? I accept the risks at hand. Just open the door. All else aside, this is Kjerag's mind. Should pollutants leak or any other dangerous situation arises, Kjerag does not rule out the right to intervene through administrative measures. Before you offer to take responsibility, I suggest you contact Her Grace, the Duke, once more. You're good to see you again, Mr. Matterhorn. Pardon me, Father. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to wait at reception for now. I have business with our diplomatic guest. Mr. Edelweiss, I was expressly invited here by the Victorians. Since when is the Vinebead Court so concerned with temporal affairs? Today, both the clan leadership and the general public are dissatisfied with the way Carlin Trade has been engaging with Victoria. The Great Elder has summoned Sir Enciotis to an inquiry into the matter. Perhaps you will also need to report to the Vinebead Court soon. Why then would a cleric feel need to accept an invitation to come here before then? I wish to ensure a smooth handover process and hope that Carlin Trade is willing to cooperate to the fullest extent. Please open the warehouse door, Mr. Edelweiss. Given that power has been restored by the three clans, perhaps the Vinebead Court would be more representative of Kjerag's administrative measures. He got you there, bud. Bro! I don't think we can keep stalling. What exactly are we stalling for? Who are we waiting for? Matterhorn, open the door. I think they were stalling to move out everything that was inside. The door slowly opens, and the Victorian ambassador is caught unaware by the dust that diffuses from within. He squints and fans the air in front of him with his hand. There is neither the smell of industrial waste nor the texture of originium dust. The ambassador's eyes gradually adjust to the vast, unobstructed warehouse, within which is nothing but scrap metal. As I stated, there's nothing here but industrial waste. Please leave as soon as you finish your inspection. Staying here for an extended period of time would be detrimental to your health. Everyone, stay put. I'm conducting the inspection myself. Carlin Trade works fast. As soon as he enters the warehouse, he feels the vast space around him dilating in all directions, the steel frames stretching straight to the ceiling, surrounded by scrap metal of all shapes and sizes. Liminal space vertigo. There's no way such a large warehouse was set up just to store these things. It's far too pretentious. He approaches the bottom of one of the shelves and reaches out to rummage through it with no particular aim in mind. The clanging of metal echoes through the warehouse. Wait, it's still half intact, and I can still make out the insignia of Silver Ash's private army. The Shagata. Were these originally weapons and gear not improperly disposed of after being thrown in the shredder? An idea bubbles up. and he keeps looking elsewhere. Though Carlin Trade has been quite meticulous, a few clues are bound to leak through. Of this he is certain. I almost forgot that Clan Silverash is a private army of ghostly mercenaries. The Chagata. Replicas of Victoria's newest equipment, as well as large caliber naval gun parts. What the fuck? He's just clocking everything that was moved out? Of all failures, unable to break through the technical barrier. Oh. Does he think Kjerag doesn't have any working battleships? They never found out about what we were building underneath Lake Silberneher's. The army designations, the insignias, many other terms in the Kjeragi language, he quietly memorizes them all. Okay, he's not to be messed with. He is a true Victorian spy. Sir, are you done yet? Yes, I am. The ambassador returns to the group. I've more or less seen what I needed to see, Mr. Edelweiss. I will summarize the entire situation and faithfully report it to the Duke. Sir, the internal railway in the mining site has just cleared, and you haven't had time to inspect it yet. Does Victoria also need to use that internal railway? Yes, we've contacted a number of suppliers for quotes. Using the internal railway can significantly reduce transportation costs. Father, is the Vinebead Court aware of this? If you are so keen to get involved in diplomatic affairs, Carlin Trade hopes that you will also be willing to verify any business entities that wish to join. Gnosis' concern interrupts the thoughts of the Vinebead Court envoy, who then looks away from the railway. That would require the Great Elder's input. I understand. By Karagander, I ask that the Vinebead Court not make things difficult for Ensiotis. I will remain at Carlin Trade's headquarters, awaiting your summons. By Karagander. What did they move out? Thinking emoji? How many more chapters do we have? OS-7, OS-8, SD3, 9, 10, and 4. OS-7. Or should we leave that for next stream? I think that'll be where we should stop for now. So far, definitely the Victorians were behind a lot of it. However, there's still the issue of the UFO that crashed into the Kjerag Mountains, the destabilization of the prime vein. We don't even know if it's a prime vein. Of the vein underneath the land. There's Kjar's disappearance. And also, what else? What the fuck has Harold been doing? We haven't seen Harold at all. Is he just innocently providing humanitarian aid with the catastrophe victims? Has he not been a part of all this espionage all along? Okay. Anyway, I think that'll be that for our story reading for today. We will continue for more story reading next weekend, where hopefully we could wrap up retracing our steps. We need to find out what happened to Karagander. What's Silver Ash doing with the Kazimeshan inside his mines? What's he hiding? Aside from the battleships and military might that he's been building to protect Kjerag's sovereignty. It can't be just that, right? Because that's just a rehash of the previous Kjerag event. That Silver Ash was hiding, building military might. That was the whole crux of the previous event. So there has to be another layer of conspiracy behind everything that Silver Ash has been doing behind the scenes. Ratatos? Still don't think she's dead. No body has been confirmed. But, yeah, that'll be that. Thank you to everyone stopped by, chilled out, and chat. Use this as second monitor content and watched us read through Retracing Our Steps. Must see friendos next time for the continuation and maybe the finale of our story reading. Bye-bye, friendos.